Story I want to touch up on is the main story. I want to talk about this thing, the King of Pop. Yeah, Mister, I said you got your hand up. Give me 1 second. We're going to get on that. I didn't even know that because Tariq had a show about that yesterday. I didn't even know that Michael had that thing trademarked. So when this guy said he's literally the King of Pop, he really meant that he was actually the King of Pop. I mean, for everything that he actually did, he actually had a trademark. So give it to Michael. Michael was definitely an astute businessman. He showed that back in the day when he went ahead and he got the Beatles catalog, and that caused all kind of with the actual the Beatles and Paul McCartney. To this day, he never forgave Michael for that. Paul McCartney never forgave Michael for getting that Beatles catalog. He showed him how to work it. He showed Michael how to work it. When he showed Michael how to work it, Michael went ahead and got that Beatles catalog, and then later on he would go ahead and get the Sony catalog. And when Michael got that, it was like a time that Eminem tried dissing Michael. He started dissing Michael on the song, and Michael didn't say a word. He just went ahead, called the people up, and ended up pulling the video like, hey, he had that much power, he had that much clout. So peace to Michael on that. Mister and Ray and Charlie, so you guys want to go ahead, so I won't hesitate. Mister, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo, what's good, Newstoter? Thank you for hosting the space. I wanted to speak on the topic. Harry Styles being crowned the new king of pop. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Rolling Stone came out with an article, the UK version of Rolling Stone, and they crowned Harry Styles the king of pop. But it's ridiculous because Michael has done so much musical-wise. Harry Styles, he doesn't even come close. There's nobody who has a Thriller like a Michael Jackson. He's legendary. That album sold millions. It's literally in the Guinness Book of Records. So it's ridiculous. I spoke about this topic also with Tariq Nasheed. And soon, yeah, you're totally right, Newstoter. You talked about the fact that he owned the Beatles catalog. He bought that. That was a smart business move. He owned half of Sony. And yeah, you're correct. Eminem disrespected Michael in his video Just Lose It. And in 1984, Michael had an accident with his hair, his scalp burning with an accident. Eminem was mocking that. So nobody was calling him out back in the day. Dr. Dre said nothing, 50 Cent said nothing. So ever since Michael broke all these records, he surpassed Elvis, he surpassed a lot of white icons. And because he did that, they were pissed off. They came up with false allegations. They said that he didn't want to be black, even though it has been, it's factual that the man had a skin disease. His skin became lighter, and it's called vitiligo. It's been established in his autopsy records. And they also came with false allegations, accusing him of all kinds of bullshit. But those allegations have been debunked. There were court cases filed a couple of years ago. And the two people that claimed that Michael did stuff, they got kicked out of court. And literally in the court documents, it says, no rational fact finder can believe what these guys are saying. So when the white media pushes all these lies, don't listen to it, dismiss it, take it with a grain of salt. The man has done so much for the world. He's a legend, he's an icon, and he will ever be the king. He will forever be the king of pop. Nobody can take that title away from him. So I want to land my plane, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
No problem, brother. And I heard you in the Tariq room yesterday, and I heard how passionate you were. I could tell that you're a lifelong Michael fan and whatnot. And for so many of us that grew up in the actual 80s, I was just a young, almost a baby, but little kid when he came out. Michael meant the world to us. And you write all the BS allegations, all the nonsense. People, too, act like Michael was a one-trick pony, like Thriller was it. People forget that Off the Wall was one of the greatest albums of all time itself. I mean, you can make a claim that Off the Wall was as good as Thriller. It just didn't have the actual videos that Thriller had, but Off the Wall was a classic. Bad was a classic. Thriller was a classic. The Remember the Time album was a classic. Not to forget all the classic albums that Michael had when he was actually part of the damn the Jackson 5 and whatnot. I mean, this is a guy that went from being a child star to a teen idol to a superstar to icon, mega global star, the biggest star the world's ever known. So I'm with you on that. To sit up here and talk about somebody because they're in the UK and you're trying to sell a few copies and whatnot that they didn't level with Michael Jackson, please stop it. Stop. They tried that even with Madonna. Talk about Madonna was the king or queen of pop. Madonna couldn't damn set up the microphone for Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was selling out 100,000 seat arenas when Madonna was just getting on her training bra. So what are we talking about here? Madonna could never be at the level of no damn Michael Jackson. Miss Giselle, Ray, I'm gonna let Ray and Charlie, I'm gonna let Miss Giselle go because we got us a lady up here. So Miss Giselle, you go ahead and mute your mic, and then we're gonna go to Ray and Charlie.
Hey guys, happy what is this Tuesday? Yeah, everything Mr. said and more. MJ, this is bigger than MJ. This is them wiping out. This is ethnocide. This is them erasing us and then redistributing the wealth of us because they're demonizing us enough here. So the goal is to have the world hate us. So if you be racist, nobody's gonna miss you if you don't. But what they can't do is really like block out the great things that we've done. Michael's light, that man had a light. I posted because I've been killing Rolling Stone all day. Everybody in this room, if you are an MJ fan, everybody should be on those posts on Rolling Stones because if we don't nip this in the bud, people don't look at this as how serious it is, but it was our culture. It was our music that spread throughout the world that really told the world who we were. After slavery, the goal was to kill the slave. But they couldn't do that because people looked at us and said, well, these are really good people. You had people from the Harlem Renaissance traveling the world, showing them what Black America was made of. And America had to fall back and then they rolled with this land of the free logo as they killed us and slaughtered us and did what they did to us back in Jim Crow. Now, moving forward with the MJ effect, what he did musically is untouchable. The goal is to replace everything that we've done great. They have not been able to, take him off of that mantle because we won't allow them to. If we sit back and we just let them write these publications without getting any kickback, this is a test of the water. They put their feet in the water to see how cold it was. So we have to treat it as such in every single area, not just music, sports, in our intellectual property, our creations, those patents, start calling stuff out because this is how we take back our shit. So I say all of this to say MJ fan for life. I grew up, my grandmother, the only person that could sing at her funeral was Michael Jackson. So let me tell you, at my grandmother's funeral, every song was an MJ song. In my household, Michael Jackson was a relative. When he died, I literally had a repast at my house, and we watched the funeral, and it was emotional. That's the thing about our celebrities. They are like most of the ones that roll with us like that. They became a part of us, and we can't allow these systems to go at our people like that. And again, go on Rolling Stone. I don't care how many posts you got. Just go in there, light up like 20 posts talking about who MJ was. Post a video of it because I just did that too. Gonna post a couple of more tonight, and I'll land.
No doubt. Appreciate you stopping by, Miss Giselle, and definitely I'm with you with that Michael thing. That 2009 funeral when they had it, that thing was kind of hard to watch, man. Like that kind of, that
emotional,
that was kind of,
right?
As a man, I'm just telling you straight up, like it was almost like a family member, like passing. Like everybody I know was glued to the TV that night. Everybody was like watching that thing. So I'm with you on that. You talk about somebody when Michael's at the top of his world, I was a little bitty kid, but I was big enough. That's when MTV was really just coming out, really was huge. Michael, like I said, the impact that this man had, MTV didn't even want to play black people music, but Michael was so big and whatnot that they couldn't refuse it. Like I know people talk about Prince. Yeah. Michael opened up the doors for everybody. Like everybody that came after him, even the ones that was already established artists. The biggest black artists at that time, Rick James and Diana Ross, and you name it, they weren't getting any love from MTV. But when Michael came and blew things out the water, it changed everything, and people don't really realize how big this man was and the kind of impact he had globally. Like, you talk about somebody that can't even walk down the street here. That's how big this man was. You got to close the movie theaters. You got to close the grocery stores. You got to. He was at that level. So yeah, I mean, if Harry Styles or whatever his name came knocking on my door, I wouldn't even know who the hell he is.
I swear I didn't know who he was, Miss Tyler. I swear I still don't know who this dude is. Maybe he played in something. Is he an actor? Who knows?
I don't know. This dude from the UK and all of these jokers look like the damn Beatles and the Monkeys and whatnot. So I don't even know who the hell Harry Styles is. So like I said, if he came knocking on my door right now, I would just think that he was dropping off he was with DoorDash or something. I wouldn't know who the hell he was.
Exactly, and we cannot allow them because this is how they lower the standards. See, we used to have expectations in the music industry, and those standards were based on our performances. So they lowered our performance. If you look at a lot of our performers, most of them starting to sound the same now, and that's how you neutralize that sound, and they allow the white artists to carry a louder sound, and their sound they're able to do all of their ranges. That's the Yabba effect. Because Yabba, again, she's still in, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump back in because this topic, I'm passionate about it. But Yabba,
no problem. Just stick around because we're gonna get back to you.
James Brown, Yabba stole James Brown's sound, and now they told us that sound was old. Now she's doing it, but we gotta pay attention to that and take our stuff back and call them out for it too.
No problem. Everybody that's in the actual spot, go ahead and tweet out the link. Go ahead and tweet it. I don't see anybody tweeting out the link anything. Y'all go ahead and tweet it out for me. Ray, go ahead. I hadn't heard from you in a little minute. Go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts on this. We're gonna get to you, Ray, and then we're gonna get to you, Charlie.
Yeah, man, I've been having some serious auto issues or whatever, man. I've been trying to get into the past two spaces, and every time I go in, it'll kick me out of things. But whatever reason's working today, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. So real quick, I got 3 quick points. The first one, there is only one King of Pop, and that shall forever remain Michael Jackson. I was into one of Tariq's spaces, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, when he was discussing this, and and someone brought up a hell of a point. They don't do this to other artists. You would never go to ever hear anyone say anything about Elvis isn't the king of whatever the kid they claim him to be the king of. They only do this to our artists, and that's honestly the really fucked up part because it's true. So I don't even know who this. I think his name is Harry Styles, or whatever. I don't even know who he is. So if how you gonna be that popular? You don't even have people that really don't even know who you are. The second thing about Adele, and I guess y'all talking about that interview that she did with Diddy or whatever. They talking about they saved artists.
We talking about that as well too. Yeah.
Okay, that's something separate because I see Mary J says Adele. Okay, never mind.
Oh no. It's all part of the discussion. We just we had to start off with this one here, but if you want to talk about that too, I had like a little brief article, but you can go ahead and touch on it. Go ahead if you want to.
No, I just gonna say what are they talking about? When did R&B die? Like what do you mean saved? We need to put some respect on the artists that's still right now. That's still putting in some good work, like Jasmine Sullivan, like oh my God, Fantasia, Monica, Brandy, Maya, Raheem Devine, Tamia.
Some of those names, some of those names you mentioned are like older names too. I guess they talk about this generation.
Well, I guess if you want to go this generation, I guess you could kind of say Chris Brown. Okay, he kind of does R&B just a little bit, but then that's to me the kind of the closest thing. If you want to go like king wise, the kind of closest thing to Michael, I guess, for this generation. But yeah, there's only one king of pop. Let's go ahead and put that to rest. They're not going to start erasing, our icons and trying to slander them with all these lies and things like that. And real quick before I land my plane, so I went back and I rewatched the interview you did a couple days ago when y'all had TS or whatever. Just really quick, 2 seconds. What the hell was her problem with me? I wasn't even in the space, and she was talking about how she was gonna cuss out Ray, DJ, and Tyler. I was like, what the fuck did I do?
I don't know, man. You know this is a troll, so you know
how
that is.
I'm not trying to change the energy of the conversation, but I wonder. I was honestly confused. I didn't know what the fuck. I was like, what? All right, but go ahead and go to the next person. I'm gonna land my plane.
No problem, man. Like I said, we're gonna touch on the Mary J thing as well too. Charlie, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, what's up, Toter? Appreciate you for hosting the space, man. Man, I just wanted to say that, like, people like Mary J or anybody who just says, like, stupid shit like that, I feel like, I don't know about canceling them, but shunning them. I mean, just ignorant statements like that. I feel like we know why she's doing it, maybe just for a pat on the head. I don't know why she would even, create a thought to say that. But, yeah, like, Justin, he should have been canceled a long time ago for doing what he did to Janet. I'm surprised they didn't throw Justin Bieber in there. Shit. And I think R. Kelly, he's R&B. I mean, I know he did what he did, but shit, who ain't? I mean, like, I honestly think free R. Kelly. I mean, that whole, I don't know if y'all heard that song, Leg Shake or something like that with Ludacris. I'm hearing that now a lot. That nigga's locked up. I don't know when that song dropped, but I still hear that a lot. I mean, I kind of don't want to X out Kells out of this. Although he's in there for what he's in there for, he shouldn't be, in my opinion. I mean, goddamn. But yeah, people like Mary J, comments like that about Michael, I actually get offended personally. Just, I don't know what it is, but Michael Jackson is the only artist that people talk down on him or just say anything negative. Like, I get hostile. Like, it's not even a front. Like, I literally get pissed off. You can talk about any other artist. I don't really feel that type of way about, but something about Michael. People talk down on him, shit on him. I come up with receipts, everything. I just don't like that. It's like I want to fight somebody. It's kind of like a weird vibe when I listen to his music. Just watch a video. I mean, he's before my time. I mean, I'm born in '92. But I mean, it's just, even watching videos of people passing out while he's at a show, like, it's just mind blowing. That's all I wanted to say. Just mainly about people like Mary J and shit like that, like Busta Rhymes, Fat Joe saying Caribbeans or immigrants started this and that. Fuck them and shun them. From here on out, I don't care if they even apologize because you know better. That's all I wanted to say.
Absolutely, and I want to touch on that, and we're gonna kind of combine both of those topics tonight. So I want everybody, even though I want to, because with the Mary J thing, it was kind of the way it was worded. Because one of our curators, the way they kind of worded it, and what she kind of said, because she didn't basically say that they saved it, but that they pretty much. She considers it, and even I have a problem with that. She's trying to say that Adele and Justin Timberlake basically rebranded it. And I'm just going to read this real quick. It says, Mary J. Blige says radio stations killed R&B and thanks Justin Timberlake and Adele for bringing it back. Now she's blaming the radio stations. Mary J. Blige is blaming radio stations for the collapse of the R&B genre and praising Justin Timberlake and Adele for helping rebrand the genre. She made this known while doing a live stream with Diddy. According to Vlad, Diddy hosted the first part of his Instagram live discussion on the state of R&B yesterday with a number of legendary current acts. Friend and R&B icon Mary J. Blige joined Diddy to address if R&B was dead and who killed it. If so, the queen of hip-hop soul had a positive outlook on the state of the genre and praised the current generation for taking R&B towards a new direction. You can't kill something that's in our DNA, Blige said. It's going to keep transforming from one generation to another generation to another. They was trying to kill it. She followed up her statement by calling out radio stations, role in R&B music's perceived demise. While praising the stations that support the genre, she claimed many radio stations played a role in R&B's decline by choosing to follow the latest trends. Blige highlighted the efforts of herself and additional R&B legends for pointing out the differences in R&B music, which is perceived when white acts perform the music. They want to call it popular music when Adele and Justin Timberlake get a hold of it. So now it's popular music, she added. But it's been popular music. We had it all the time. And then the actual magazine, Black Sports Online, so I don't think R&B is dead. It's just like it runs its life in cycles. Give it 10 more years and you'll see a resurgence. People just need to be patient. Here's the thing. And this is my problem with the thing with Mary, like I said, it was kind of taken out of context. But here's the thing, the problem with Mary, what she said, like, first off, pop music and R&B are not the same. So you can't rebrand something that's completely two totally different genres. Now we've had R&B stars and we've had pop stars who've been able to intertwine in both of them. Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson both have had success as pop stars and R&B stars, but they would probably be considered pop more so than the other. But here's the thing: Adele has never been an R&B star. Justin Timberlake has never been an R&B star. They've both been pop. Now, I've seen at the BET Awards, BET, which we know is owned by a white corporation now, BET went ahead and had an award which made no sense called the best, I believe it was the best R&B pop award. And I'm like, how in the hell can you fuse R&B and pop together? That's like having awards in the best country and and hard metal award or whatever. It just makes no sense. That's ridiculous. That's like having the best the best soul song and the best gospel song. It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, what are we talking about here? You can't have, these are two genres that don't make sense. Like I said, you've always had stars that's been able to cross over. Bobby Brown was R&B, but Bobby Brown also had some success crossing over. My Prerogative could also made it to the pop charts. So you've always had that where you had artists be able to go from one to another, but Adele and damn Justin Timberlake then rebrand the damn thing. What are we talking about here? Now, Mary is a legend and she knows this. Now, if you want to say popular music and they did a great job of popular music, fine, but they didn't rebrand or repackage anything. So I have to totally disagree with that. Like I said, I know it was taken out of context, but when you see the title, said that she says that they pretty much she praises them for bringing it back. They didn't bring anything back. Adele never. Adele is from England. Adele is not an R&B singer. Justin Timberlake, for as much as he tried to copy Michael Jackson and imitate him like a parrot, he's not R&B. He's pop. He's always been pop from the time he was in, what was it, Backstreet Boys or NSYNC or whatever the hell, NSYNC, whatever, NSYNC. So no. Miss Giselle, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yes, can y'all hear me? My phone.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, first off, it's not rebranded. Listen to the trickery. Pop music, there's nothing attached to slavery with that. But rhythm and blues, white people ain't got no rhythm like that. Let's keep it about. Not by nature, they get it by force. Like they force themselves to have like a rhythm. So in the blues, we got the blues because of the hell they sent us through. So to even claim that, you have to come from a certain lineage line. You have to come from a certain experience. So to merge the two is to steal the sound. Pop is okay, but it ain't R&B. So if you steal, because they want to steal the sound, but it can't be related to R&B, because people will say, "No, that's black people." They did this. Oh my God! It's been a couple of decades, and they used music in a different way. What they did, they neutralized the older people. In all of our music, we've always had evolution. You had grandma's music, great grandma's music, you had your mama's music, then you had your music. But everybody knew the difference in between. It's a respect level. You're like, I rock with my mother's music. Well, that's my grandmother's music right there. Because each one of our music represented like a time stamp in history. And that's why we knew, that's why we dictated the culture, because you heard it through our music. You can feel it through our music. So what they did, they said, let's break this down. They gave our kids vibe, where they took all black music and they had little white kids singing the songs. So our kids was raised off of this sound and they called it pop. So now our kids confused, growing up from 2000 and above, like what's that? That sounds like pop music, right? They don't understand the difference between R&B and that. And they also took the instruments out of our stuff for R&B. And we have always been instrument people. Now instrumentals are cool, but we love instruments. That's how we had the vibe. That's the energy. So they diffused that energy out of our music. They've been doing it like take a couple of years. These people don't mind waiting as long as they steal your stuff. They slowly but surely sucked the life and the soul out of R&B. And now they're redepositing it into these white acts like the Yebbas and the Adeles. They're just redepositing. That's why, and what they do, They'll send the Yebbas and Adele out to do frontlines. Well, now Adele's so big, she don't have the frontline. She is the leading act. But you had people that do the front shows. Now they got Asian people jumping on our shows. It was an Asian on the Drew Hill show in North Carolina. I was so confused. I never seen an Asian sing anything that I would be interested in buying or listening to. No offense, it's just not my style, and I don't know about anybody else. But that's what they did, and now we're at a point where you can't even tell the music for the last two generations. The mama's music and the kids' music is the same damn music, and that shows no evolution. That shows no evolution, which means we are losing. Once we do that, we start to die. Our music starts to die, and I think Mary J. They positioned her to say that because if she didn't do that, she did the Super Bowl. She's trying to get. I don't even know why she's throwing herself out there like that, but they know the level of respect we had for Mary, so they know that we're not. If Mary said we ain't going to knock her ass out completely, right? So they'll push her and just say, "Hey, say something about Adele. Ain't that your friend? Y'all cool, right? She really did this." And Mary's sitting there like, "Yeah, Adele did kind of step up. I'll speak up for her. I'll put it out there." And it's the same thing they did with putting nigga and calling out black women bitches into the music. They gradually pushed it into us because our men weren't doing that back in the day. So I land by saying we gotta watch the hand because this is bigger than just it's bigger than them just like misappropriating and culture vulturing our music.
No doubt, no doubt. Miss, I'm going to get to you. I just want to add this point here, too, is that one thing that I think, too, where you see a difference where and we, like you said, we're talking about rhythm and blues, but we're also talking about soul as well, too. And one thing that I would say I know a lot of us in our generation, we're not really big on the black church. We feel like the black church has failed and the black church hasn't done what it needed to do. But one thing the black church did provide, I feel, to a lot of the up and coming singers is that it pretty much prepared them for their musical careers. Because you had all these hours and hours and hours, you had these singers practicing in the choir, in the chorus, and this and that, and working on their voice and how to deliver songs and whatnot. And I think you don't have that quite as much as you used to because you have kind of somewhat of a disconnect from the church. You don't have the choirs and stuff that you had years ago. So I don't think that you're getting. It was almost like the minor leagues preparing them and whatnot. So when they left that church, you had people that could really sing, man, that could really blow and whatnot. Whether they went the gospel route or they went the secular route. So I don't think you really have that as much now as you did back then when everybody in the community had to go to church. Like you was gonna go to church. Like you went to church. I don't care who you was. Probably 80% of the households went to church. 85, 90% of the households at one time went to church. So you had people going to choir practice 2-3 times a week. So you had this soulfulness that they were learning how to sing and whatnot. It was projected. So when they actually went out there and they started their careers or whatever, vocally they were much further along and much better. And like you had that gospel type, so you had more soul into the actual music than you have now. Another thing I want to say is shout out to Stephanie Mills. Stephanie Mills is one that's been calling out this kind of stuff for years. Stephanie Mills, she does not bite her tongue. For those who don't know, who might be young, Stephanie Mills is a powerhouse vocalist from the 70s, 80s. He actually used to date Michael Jackson back in the day. And Stephanie Mills is one of the better vocalists of the last 40 years or whatnot. She calls it out. She called it out a few years ago when he had the Grammys. They were honoring the Motown, and they had the Motown rendition, and they had J Lo, they had Jennifer Lopez up there singing Motown songs, and Stephanie Mills was like, "Wait a minute, this ain't right. Why is J Lo sitting up here singing Motown songs? This should be a black person sitting up here singing Motown. What Motown meant to black people and whatnot. No disrespect to Jennifer Lopez, but you couldn't have found a black. You couldn't have found Jennifer Hudson to get up there and sing them songs. Let's be for real. Jennifer Hudson's voice is superior to Jennifer Lopez. I mean, J-Lo voice is nowhere near in the same hemisphere as Jennifer Hudson. So wouldn't it make sense to have somebody like Jennifer Hudson up there, or a Fantasia or somebody? Like, why would you have J-Lo sitting up here honoring Motown when all of Motown artists were black at that time? Unless you get to the 80s and you got somebody like Tina Marie. But by then, Motown in the 80s was nothing like Motown in the 60s or the 70s. So, you have to have artists like that. And she's one of the few that's outspoken, that don't mind. She was pretty much let you know. She'll set it off. She'll tell you how it is. So you got to have artists like that. And I know Mary's still, trying to stay relevant and whatnot. She's had a Hall of Fame career. She should have. You never know what somebody's finances are. So, but like you say, she was at that Super Bowl, so she's still trying to stay relevant. I just, I just don't understand that. Like, there's no repackaging. You can't. People, they don't let you repackage like heavy metal music or country music. So I mean, that's one thing about us. We don't gatekeep. You had Charlie Pride back in the day that used to sing country, black man, one of the first black men to really be honored and win awards and this and that. But they weren't going to open the floodgates to country music for people like Charlie Pride. Like, yeah, you're going to be the exception. You ain't finna be the rule up in here. And Charlie Pride was a talented man. He won awards and stuff, but the floodgates weren't about to open up. Mister, I'll go ahead and I'll let you unmute your mic.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak again. When it comes to Adele and Justin Timberlake, there's all kinds of white American pop stars like Timberlake, Britney Spears. They want to center themselves in black music and black culture. But haven't you noticed when a black person gets killed by the police, or there's police brutality, all kinds of other stuff that's happening in the black community, they don't speak out. They're quiet. They stay in the background. They don't give any support or whatever. So they want to reap the benefits and the fruits of dabbling in black music. But when it comes to black people suffering or getting targeted by the police, they're absent. They're MIA. That's also problematic. So it's disrespect on so many levels. I'm like, show true love. You cannot just be like, oh well, I like Michael, or I liked Whitney Houston, and they were my inspiration. And then they can go a whole lot further. They're quiet, they stay in the background, they say nothing, and it rubs me the wrong way. So that's also something that I've noticed about the Timberlakes, the Biebers, the Britney Spearses, and the Adeles of the world, so it's very problematic.
Hey, you're right. And like somebody, I don't know if it was you or Charlie or somebody, or Ray mentioned, but Timberlake was supposed to get canceled for the whole Super Bowl fiasco that happened with Janet Jackson when he went ahead and she had that wardrobe malfunction, and he didn't step up and say, "Hey, listen, everybody's blaming Janet, but I actually was the one that ripped it off." So while y'all sitting up here and Janet got blackballed by CBS and all of them and whatnot, now how you have this A-list star on top of the world at the time, and Janet Jackson, part of the biggest music family in the history of music, she gets completely blackballed by CBS. She gets completely blackballed by the award shows. At the Grammys, they rescind her invite and whatnot. Janet Jackson, who was a superstar, first ballot, we had Hall of Fame rock and roll. She's going in there. She completely gets blacklisted. Justin Timberlake sits up here, and I heard Janet when she had her they had the documentary about it. She's like, I told Justin not to say anything, this and that, just so they wouldn't come down on him. But damn that, Justin is a man. Justin could have stood up there and said, you know what, this was a complete wardrobe malfunction. We did not plan to do this. I was gonna rip the shirt or whatever, but we did not intend for it to go that far. You shouldn't be punishing Janet Jackson like that. But Justin didn't say anything about that. And getting back to Britney Spears as well, I don't know if anybody remembers, but Britney Spears did a re-rendition of My Prerogative, and it sounded like somebody was strangling a damn alley cat out there. It was the most ridiculous re-rendition that I have ever heard. They asked Bobby Brown about it, and Bobby Brown said, well, hey, I'm getting paid from it. And that was the nicest thing he could say. Like, I'm getting paid from it. He thought it was garbage. I thought it was garbage. Anybody that heard that would think that it was pure D garbage. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I just wanted to add something else too, man. I can't realize that's still making me a little mad, man. The King of Pop, come on, bro. Like I said, there's only one King of Pop. This is honestly just Rolling Stone or whoever put it out. They're just trying to drum up controversy because no one really gives a shit about their magazine anymore, if we're just gonna be honest. But this guy, Harry Styles, evidently, from what I'm seeing, the only thing he's really known for is really like putting on a dress. Evidently, I guess he put on a dress at one point.
He wears a dress?
Yeah, I guess is what he's known
my
for. It's
God.
like fashion or whatever. So he's known for putting on dresses and stuff when he performs. Oh yeah, you already know that was gonna take it there. But I mean, we need to ask some legitimate questions. You trying to crown this man as the king of pop over Michael Jackson? We need to ask some common sense questions like, okay, what records did he break? What musical boundaries has this man pushed? What songs has he written that we remember forever? What performances has he done that people are just gonna remember forever? What has he done, controversial wise, outside of putting on a damn dress? I land my plane on that, man.
Michael Jackson was a generational talent. He was somebody, like you have people that come along like Sammy Davis Jr. And Ray Charles and people of that ilk or whatnot. This is somebody that doesn't come along every few years or whatever. So to sit up here and compare this dude here, and it's funny, like you said, Ray, they don't do that when you have Elvis, even though we know Elvis wasn't even a king of rock and roll, but they gave him that title. Fine. Nobody, they would never challenge it. You have never heard, Elvis has been dead damn near 50 years. You have not heard them crown anybody else a king of rock and roll.
Exactly. He stole how many songs?
70
Big Mama Thornton?
70 years.
You said what, Miss Giselle?
We talking like 70 years. It's almost 100 years and they still ain't got a king of anything. And they're like, all right, this Negro that held the spot of music genres he created. Now we got to figure out somebody else to replace him in the stuff that they created. Because they're going into this because they know it's the only thing that's lucrative. Once they get a hold of the other music, it dies off. So they're looking at what's lasting. And they think it's just if you learn how to sing, that's it. It's the soul in the music. It's the freaking soul in the music.
And here's the thing, that there's only one king of pop, just like Aretha Franklin is the queen of soul. Like James Brown is the godfather of soul. These are titles that, these titles don't go to anybody else but them. Like Aretha Franklin, there's nobody you can put up here that's you're gonna tell me is the queen of soul over Aretha Franklin or the godfather of soul over James Brown. So like I said, Elvis and Mrs. I don't think it's been quite 70. I think he died like in 76 or something like that, but he's been dead a long time nonetheless. But since he's been dead, since he died on the toilet, since they always like to talk about how Michael Jackson died and whatnot, since this dude died on the toilet, it's funny how they can always talk about how the black people, and that's another thing I don't like either, that whenever we start bringing up Whitney Houston, we start bringing up Michael Jackson, we start now with Prince too, we want to talk about them basically being addicted to this and addicted to that. We want to talk about the sexuality, this and that. Yeah, the biggest damn white stars y'all had that had all kind of sexuality issues, all kind of drug issues and this and that. You may mention that, but that's not the highlight of their life. I don't appreciate that being like the highlight. Like Michael Jackson's being hooked to painkillers and all this other stuff is not the highlight of Michael Jackson's career. Same with Whitney Houston. No matter what she was addicted to, no matter who she might have been in love with or whatever. So I don't really appreciate that when they start doing this with the black stars. They want to go ahead and they want to only focus on the negative issues. But yeah, when it comes to black people, like I say, how many times have you guys ever heard in your lifetime they talk about, they don't make fun of Elvis dying on the damn toilet? They say, oh yeah, the king of rock and roll died on the toilet. They talk very little about Elvis dying on the shitter.
Exactly. All them damn drugs he was on.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, don't let Michael Jackson have died on the toilet and see what kind of how many jokes he would have been the butts of and whatnot. Let it have been Prince or somebody else that died on the toilet like that. Like I say, they talk about Michael Jackson and they talk about the kids and this and that. They don't even mention the stuff with Priscilla Presley. They don't even talk about that. How young was Priscilla when Elvis met her? Okay,
14. She was 14.
14 years old.
And
14.
He was named the King of Pop May the 4th, 1956. So we almost 80 years in.
Yeah, so they don't, like I say, so you don't hear that. You only, with the black people, you only hear the negative stuff. You only hear the negative things. You only hear the negative issues about their life. Like, they highlight the positive for a little bit, but then we got to get right to that negative stuff. Like I said, but when it's everybody else, they gloss over it. It's just a little bit of their life and this and that. For us, it's this huge part. No matter what all these people contributed and how great they were, this is what they mainly focus on. DJ, I see you got your hand up real quick, bro. Of course, I don't know DJ there. He may just have his hand up. DJ, you there?
Yeah, I'm here running, whipping the truck. Hold on 1 second. Coming to a light. Hey, yeah, I just want to say, what's up, everybody? Reparations up, black people love, one love. What's good, my boy Tyler, everybody in the chat that's speaking. You forgot a couple people. Boosie Collins on the funk level and Chuck Berry on the go-go. You know what I mean? So that type of music can't be recreated by nobody. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, man, come on. If you're talking about Black American music, what you want to say is ADOS or FBA or whatever, man. There's no comparison anywhere in the world, man. You couldn't, if you tried to have a too deep with just your all time great. You know how many people you'd be leaving off? It'd be almost impossible. It'd be unfair. Everybody would be arguing. Oh, well, you left so and so on. Oh, how come you didn't put so and so on the team? What about this person? You couldn't even do it, man. Come on, look at what Motown alone had. There's never been a record label in the history of the world with the kind of talent that Motown Records had. None. Period. You could talk about Arista, you could talk about Columbia, you could talk about all nothing compared to what Motown was in its prime from the 60s to the 70s. There is no comparison. When you got Diana Ross, you got Michael Jackson, you got the Four Tops, you got the Commodores, you got the Temptations. I mean, come on, you got Marvin Gaye. I mean, how can you possibly compare to that? There is no comparison. Everybody gets left way behind on that. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic, bro.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's so many people, that like Stevie Wonder, David Ruff, and Lionel Richie, Al Green. I mean, my God, man, Motown put out some of the biggest hits. But you said something very interesting I wanted to talk about. How they definitely always try to cancel Janet Jackson, especially after the Super Bowl and all the other stuff that happened. But I have a question, and this is just honest. I'm just honestly asking this: why is Eminem never canceled? Like, really, think about that. Like, look at all the horrible things this motherfucker has said over the years. Saying F-bombs and talking all this shit about killing gay people and doing all this other stuff. He's never canceled, and I just wanted to definitely point that out. Nobody ever canceled Eminem for any reason, even on a rap level. What's up?
Can I speak on that real quick on the Eminem situation?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. I just want to say this real quick, that even on a rap level, people act like you can't even, out-rap Eminem. Like, there's plenty of rappers. Jadakiss could go bar for bar with Eminem.
I know, ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Hey, everybody, here's what I want y'all to do. So first things first, Dr. Dre did not discover Eminem. Eminem was discovered by some Negroes right here in Irvington, New Jersey, where I'm from, man. Newark, New Jersey. Eminem came over here because of the homies of the Outsiders. Pace One, Young Z, look up Young Z, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Slang Tongue. These black men discovered Eminem. Because even though Eminem was already in the in the underground clubs, it was my peoples that brought him up, uplifted him, showed him how to rap, put songs together, took him on tour well before Dr. Dre knew who he was. I used to see this joker, right, going to go get weed, you know what I'm saying, way back in the 90s, you know what I mean? Right there on the dope block. So I used to think he was just like a white crackhead, yo. Until one day, a white friend of mine, it's like, yo, you heard that dude Eminem? And I said, damn, that name sounds familiar as hell. Because I forgot my boy Pace introduced me to him like about a year or so before. Straight up like, yo, this is my man Marshall and shit. He go by Eminem. Oh, that's what's up. But, I ain't pay that shit no mind. Because I'm thinking in my head like, damn, Pace, this your white crackhead friend? This the crackhead dude that be across the street at the chicken shack over there on the outsiders block. You feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, Eminem ain't he not to say he ain't lyrically skilled, but at the end of the day, white folks hype him up, not black people. You feel what I'm saying? Now, as far as like somebody, as you said, like certain rappers out there that might be scared to go against them. Well, Eminem's style is stolen. Who the hell black, right? And it's no disrespect to my nigga Young Z. Or my nigga Slang, or my nigga Ass, or my nigga DU. Straight up, Rod Digger, what's good? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it was the outsiders that was rapping like that. I'ma kill your mom, be my baby mom over the head, throw her over a bridge. Niggas was rapping like that back in the day. But nobody was taking them serious because who the fuck listening to that shit? You know what I'm saying? On some real shit, dog. You know what I mean? Pardon me, I'm on the highway right now, but look these folks up. Pace One, PACEWON, Pace One. Jokers ain't let me get over, man. Come on, man. Pace One, look up Young Z. Young Z, look up Young Z. You know what I mean? Young Z. Hold up a minute, I'm getting over. I'm trying to get over. 1 second. Look up Slang Tongue. He got killed back in the 90s on some real shit. And when I tell you this Joker was the first Joker I ever heard spitting in Spanish, like he might as well say he created reggaeton. Slang Tongue on some real shit. You know what I mean? One day we was on the hill. He had the Mexicans going crazy rapping in Spanish, yo. Going crazy. They was loving him. And this is well before anybody knew who Noriega or any of these Bad Bunny, you feel what I'm saying? This our people shit, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, when you look up the Outsiders with a Z on the end, they discovered Eminem and they was rapping like that well before Eminem was doing it, but nobody really fucked with them like that. You feel what I'm saying? For whatever the reason, yo. For whatever the reason. But they still raw and they still got fired to me. You know what I mean? Shout out to Z, he's still doing his thing. But until, like, you know, Miss Giselle, remember her saying, you know, this is how they whitewash our shit. And then, you know, you got Dr. Dre bitch ass up here, you know, Eminem and my boy Pace, they did a song together that was supposed to be on Eminem's first album. Dr. Dre told them to cut that shit off. For what, nigga? You know what I'm saying? What's that about, bro? Why you hate my homie for, Dre? You know what I'm saying? Real shit, I'll yield dip.
Like Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, what's up to the Black family? Respect to the host. Hey, Newstoter, you know that I'm about to be the villain. I'm sorry too, man. Well, let me get away from this saying right here. Okay. Just wanna talk. You brought up a great point when you talked about Motown and all the acts they produced. But I'll point out somebody specifically that came off their roster. If you want to give somebody credit for being able to, I guess, metamorphosize from that Motown sound to what you hear today, like modern day R&B, you got to give it to Stevie Wonder. If you go back and look at a lot of his later music, once he became, like, you know, I guess I say a full-fledged adult, you saw that transition from that Motown sound to what you pretty much hear today, that modern day R&B. I got to give that to Stevie Wonder. When I say modern day R&B, you can go back to listen to his stuff in the 80s with Luther, Part-Time Lover, stuff like that. You'll hear a lot of that modern day, the modern day R&B that you hear today. You hear a lot of that in influence
I would say
his
that
later music.
Yeah, I agree with you to a certain degree because the R&B I hear today, I don't really consider this real R&B. So, yeah,
Let me say the 90s. Let me say the 90s. And you're
okay,
right. Let me say the 90s, 2000.
Yeah.
You heard that in Stevie in the 80s, but like I say, Newstoter, you know I'm about to be the villain. I don't mind being the unpopular person in the room. So I'm going to bring up Mary J. Blige. Now, I didn't know about her saying that stuff until today, till I, you know, saw it in the headline of your space here. But if you go back and look, Mary J. Blige, I'm going to say this. I was born in 1979, so I'm 43. So, like I say, grew up in the 90s. So around 1992, I would give credit to Mary J. Blige. That album, My Life, is an all-time classic. I still have it. I still have the CD. I mean the CD cover. I don't know where the CD is. But that album, legendary. But I'll say this. Mary J. Blige had an interview with Hillary Clinton. And the subject matter of police terrorism against black people came up. Now, Mary J. Blige in front of the world had the opportunity to bring up this and start a conversation. She chose to coon. She chose to sit up here and start some rendition of some freestyle song she sang off the top of her head, made herself look like a fool. So I'll say that the stuff she said about Adele and Justin Timberlake, it doesn't surprise me at all, and I'll land my plane right there.
Miss Giselle, go ahead and unmute your mic. Miss Giselle, you there?
Hello.
Yeah, I know you had your hand up, so we're gonna let you go ahead.
Oh yeah, as I was talking about the marriage too, right? And keep going because the first
you're
right
breaking up just for a second.
Yeah, it's because I'm sitting over here in Target. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll come back to you. Let Mister go ahead and get up there, then, and we'll come back to you.
Thank you for the opportunity again. This is the last thing I will say for today about the King of Pop, Michael Jackson. I don't know if people in the room are familiar with the History album. It came out in 1995, and it was like a response to the allegations that popped up in 93. And that album is like his most revolutionary, his most militant, his most pro-black album. Everybody knows the duet with his sister, Scream. He was calling out the media. He was calling out false accusers. He was calling out greed. And of course, the video in Brazil that was directed by Spike Lee. You know, they don't care about us. You see all kinds of black people, you know, reggae style, reggae colors, people, you know, playing the drums. And in that song, he called out police brutality, racism, white supremacy. And, you know, if you compare that album to Thriller, it didn't quite do the numbers. It was still successful. But if you compare it to how Michael was in the beginning when he was a kid, it's not like love songs and disco, I want to rock with you, but like, yo, you accuse me, you talk smack about me, you talk smack about me in the media, you know, I'm going to come for you, you know. And he also had a song with Notorious B.I.G. that came out in 1995, and the song is called This Time Around. And again, calling out false accusers, calling out liars, calling out, you know, the media. So he was very pro-black on that album. He was always pro-black. And the last thing I'll say, there's also a song called DS. And in that song, he specifically called out the white supremacist DA, District Attorney, who went after Michael in 1983 with false allegations. You know, he's called Tom Sneddon, a white guy, and he had a vendetta against Michael. And he goes all out. You know, you would never expect, oh, Michael, you know, he has Rock With You, he has all kinds of feel-good songs, but nobody would expect that he would make a direct diss track against the district attorney who went against him. You know, so that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. One love. Peace out.
No problem. Thank you for speaking tonight, brother. Yeah, people forget that Michael, because Michael called out what was his name? The one that was married to Mariah Carey. He used to be with Sony. Tommy Mottola.
Tommy Mottola.
Yeah.
Yo, I was just about to unmute my mic. Fuck Tommy Mottola. You all day.
Yeah, Michael straight up called him a racist who exploits black talent. I remember that. Yeah, Michael, you know, Michael was soft spoken and whatnot, but Michael, people forget that this man was the most charitable entertainer in the history of the world. Like, this man gave away fortunes. I mean, absolute fortunes, trying to help the community and whatnot. So Michael was definitely about that life. The man did a lot for people, and people, you know, they gloss over that. But and when he died, in his will, he had all kind of non-profits and stuff like that. He left the money he left for his kids and his mom, and he left to the actual charities and stuff, the organizations he had to continue to work and whatnot. People forget that, man. Michael was a driving force behind We Are the World. Him and Stevie Wonder. You know, it was either him and Stevie or him and Lionel Richie, but I think it was Stevie. And Mike, they raised billions for Africa, man. People forget about that. At the time that, you know, growing up as a little kid, all we saw on TV when we saw Africans, we saw little kids out there in the dirt with no shirt on, with big pot bellies and flies around. I'm not saying that to be insultful. I'm not trying to denigrate anybody's culture, anything like that. This man, people forget. They forget the video, "Man in the Mirror" and whatnot. One of the greatest videos he ever had. You know, just showing the actual world for what it was and whatnot. So many. I mean, that was a video as a kid, man, that just made you think, like, damn, that "Man in the Mirror" is one of his most underrated songs of all time. Great song. Video was just, at that time, the video was groundbreaking. I remember Michael, he performed that thing. I don't know if he performed it at the MTV Awards. That killed it. I mean, he brought the house down that night. I mean, and I believe he had a gospel choir singing at the time. I cannot remember if it was a Sound of Blackness or who it was. But Michael went to work. I mean, one of the greatest live performances that he ever did at that time. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And when people forget about how great this man was, you can talk about somebody, Harry Styles is on the level of Michael Jackson, man. You don't go take a walk somewhere. We'll get to you, Ray, and then we're going to go back to you, Black Pressure. Go ahead, Ray. Unmute your mic.
Now, I just wanted to ask a question because I was thinking about his album Invincible. I wanted to ask Mister, but I believe he dropped down to the list. And I just wanted to ask him a question real quick, or to just anyone in the room. Because after he beat all those allegations, I want to say like in '93 and all this other stuff, I've heard a rumor that he put out an album and named it Invincible because everyone tried to take him down and no one ever could. I'm going to land my plane.
That's a good point. I mean, he did come out with the album Invincible. Whether it was about that, Mister, he seems to be him and Mrs. L. They definitely probably the biggest Michael fans up in here. So they may definitely know that. Mister,
I'm the biggest MJ fan in here. I tried to convince my mother to let me get a Jericho. She said hell no, but it was what it was. But I still knew how to moonwalk, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Real rap. But yeah, that is true, Ray. And everybody try to come for the king. You already know when you on fucking top, everybody wants your head and shit. You know what I'm saying? So all the allegations, all the shit that he went through, and it really wasn't even so much the shit that he went through on a personal level. It was really about him wanting to fucking do the same thing these white record labels have been doing for years. Own everything. I want your masters. I want your publishing. I want your royalties. I want you. I own you type shit. Okay, I'm going to just do the same thing. Because I already done learned the game from you crackers. I want the Beatles catalog. I want Eminem's catalog. I want half of Sony's straight up ownership. I own half of Sony. Or at least the publishing side anyway. You know what I mean? I believe that's what it was. He don't have the Sony publisher. So how many artists have been on Sony records, yo, throughout the last 30, 40, 50 years, yo? A hell of a fucking lot. So the man died extra saucy rich. You know what I mean? You mad. You know what I'm saying? Was what it was. You know what I mean? So you already know. R. Kelly, Chris Brown, Prince. You can't have a man owning $1 billion unless you're a coon Jay-Z, nigga. You know what I mean? Go ahead, though.
Hey, real quick, you know when they were trying to say Michael Jackson was broke? Everybody was laughing like, man, you don't stop it here. Like, oh, well, his spending is so absurd that I'm like, look, this dude owned everybody catalog. That half of Sony catalog he owned. Okay, right. How in the hell can he owns his own catalog? He owns the Beatles catalog, and I forgot how many other artists' catalog he owned. I'm like, stop it. Eminem was just one person, though, man. This dude owned half of Sony's catalog. I mean, half of their catalog he owned. Right. But I'm saying, but look at the amount of records Eminem sold, though. You see what I'm saying? So let's talk about that right there. Well, listen, I feel you. You're right. But I'm saying he owned other superstars' catalogs as well. Right. That's what I'm saying. Right. No, I understand what you're saying, too, or whatever. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying about the Eminem situation, back to that again, Ray. Remember, Eminem was popping all that shit about Mike. All right, well, shit, I just bought the record label that own your publishing, nigga. Shut the fuck up now, white boy. You know what I'm saying? Use your mic, Eminem. Reach your mic, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
I just wanted to add before you move on, it's really sad how they're robbing these artists because look at Prince. Prince sold millions of records and they're saying this man died broke. I mean, he had that song back in the day called Little Red Corvette. He could have sold that to, the Corvette and made a stack off of that. So that just shows you how bad they're robbing these people.
Yeah, and these folks be lying when they talk about these people be broke and shit. Prince wasn't broke, man. Prince, his family was fighting over that money and whatnot. I think he had like $50 million something that the family was fighting over. Prince was far from broke. And Prince had a lot of money, but he didn't have Michael Jackson type money even. So, Black Pressure, go ahead and unmute your mic real quick.
Hey, I want to bring up something else to everybody.
Hey, Black Pressure, before you speak, hey, just on that side, Prince could have had somewhat that type of money, because don't forget, he was independent a lot longer. You feel what I'm saying? Than Michael Jackson was. You feel what I'm saying? Mike always signed with a record label. Prince, the new power generation, he went independent 20, 30 years before he passed away. And he was trying to do it then. Prince been popping shit about the music industry. That's why.
But don't also forget too that Prince was signed to Columbia. You remember when he had that whole issue with Columbia? I believe when he left, that he had to start using that symbol. Like he couldn't even use his name Prince. Like they had that copywritten.
Right.
So
for sure, right. So even with that being said though, so this is why it's important to own your own masters, own your publishing, and have all the royalties come back to you. So if you want to divvy up some royalties with an artist or whatever type of distribution label, just make sure you're the one that's controlling that shit with the split sheet. What is a split sheet? Hey, me, Newstoter, we do a beat. Mr. Zell, Ray, they on the song together, but you know what I mean? So how's that 100% getting split up? You feel what I'm saying? You got to be the person to be able to dictate that shit. That's what they've been doing for 100 years. Cadillac Records, man.
absolutely. Let me we're gonna let Mr. get in here and then Mr. Zell. Mr. I know you want to say something about the about Michael, so go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo, thank you for letting me back. I agree with everything the co-host said, DJ. Correct. In 2001, Michael came with his Invincible album, and there was like a back and forth between Michael and Sony. And Michael was making all kinds of, power moves, owning his own stuff. And the people at top, they were pissed off. They were like, hey, we just want you to moonwalk and just sing nicely, and that's it, But as soon as a black man says, hey, I want to be my own boss, they got a problem with you. So, yeah, they sabotaged his album. They didn't promote it enough. They wanted him to tour for to promote the album, but Michael was like, man, you motherfuckers are doing me wrong. And also with Tommy Mottola. Tommy Mottola was the big chief with Sony at the time. And he was saying all kinds of foul shit about black people, but the fact that he called Irv Gotti a fat N-word, and it was despicable. He was airing out all the white supremacists in the music industry. And he also talked about it when he was giving an interview with Geraldo Rivera in 2003 with the Eminem situation. In the Just Lose It video clip, he disrespects Michael to the fullest. And he was like, man, that's how you want to play? I'm just going to buy your shit. So that's how it came down. And also, I also posted it yesterday in a couple of tweets from Tariq Nasheed. It was, I think it was in 2001 or 2002. Michael was giving a speech at the National Action Network with Al Sharpton. And he was literally calling out, the big chiefs in the music industry, try to, screw over black entertainers. They refused to put them on, black entertainers on, magazines. He said, you saw Elvis Presley, you saw the Beatles, you saw Rolling Stone. And he also said, hey, I just look in the mirror. I know who I am. I know I'm black. And when he said that, the whole audience cheered, applauded, so let nobody ever tell you that Michael wasn't proud to be black. Just because his skin became lighter, because he had a skin disease called vitiligo, he was proud of his blackness. And the last thing I'm going to say, everybody talks about now Mr. Harry Styles, who I don't know any hits about this guy, that he's the new king of pop. MJ was literally a king. He was crowned king, I think, in 1991 or 1992 when he went to Africa. And literally, there's footage of it, with the African chiefs getting crowned and all the type of stuff. So the man literally died a king, literally, So you can look it up on YouTube. There's African music playing in the background. He was playing with African children. He was happy to be there. And he even said, hey, maybe in the future, I'm going to pack up my bags and I'm going to live in Africa. I love it here. The people were so generous. The people were so kind. I'm back where this is my home, basically, So, yeah, Michael was that real dude, man. For real, for real.
Definitely. Right. And I remember when he went over to Africa, how they had all the signs up talking about welcome home, Michael, and whatnot. Like, yeah, they absolutely loved it.
Yes.
There was no place in this world this man could go at that he was not recognizable. He was more recognizable than any president, any head of state. He was more recognizable than the Queen of England. There was nobody on earth that was more recognizable than this man right here. So, and like I say, if Harry, Styles came up to any of us on the street and we saw him, we just walked past and we wouldn't even know who he was. So the comparison is idiotic at best. Jay was trying to compare Justin Timberlake. They was trying to compare Justin Bieber. They've been trying to compare people. Like I said, they even tried to compare Madonna, talking about who was bigger, Madonna or Michael Jackson in the 80s. I'm like, are we even tripping here? I mean, Madonna had to go ahead and and act like a whore on stage to even get attention and whatnot. So what are we talking about here, Miss Giselle? I see you. I see that you. Let me see if I can get you back up here to speak because I know it was your time. Like you was having some connection issues. So you get a chance to come back up here and speak, sister. We're going to go ahead and let you speak. A black person, I'm going to let you speak, but let me let Mr. Engagement. We got a new speaker. So, Mr. Engagement, before we go ahead, anybody that's in the spot, make sure that you guys are following us. Follow the host and the co-host. Also, if you can, support us on Cash App. That's $Newstoter. That is $Newstoter. Mr. Engagement, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, what's up, good family? I'm on the go as always, moving and shaking. With that being said, when I heard about this new King of Pop stuff, yo, I didn't know who this clown is. Like this Harry Styles guy or where the hell his name is. I know who Michael Jackson is. Like he got a catalog that supports being the King of Pop. You know, he got albums worth. Like how many albums does this Harry Styles guy got? They need to run the numbers on this dude. That was my first thing. And Mary J. Blige always been off code to me. If she's going around saying that Adele and Justin Timberlake, and after the hits that she create, saying that they saved R&B, then she need to be looking at herself as the goddamn problem. Why didn't she build up a black artist, an R&B star? She had the money, the time, and the talent. So, she need to be mad at herself about that and quit picking up them white folks, especially in our music genre. That's weak. And I'm going to leave it like that.
Yeah, and Miss Engage, you know what she was actually trying to say? Like I said, she was actually trying to say that they helped to rebrand R&B and to bring it back or whatever. But I don't know all about that rebranding. Like I say, pop music is pop music and R&B is R&B. That's like saying that reggae is the same as soul. I mean, there's levels to this thing. There's differences and whatnot. So pop music has never been considered R&B or soul music, so I don't exactly know. And Mary J ain't like she no teenager. She ain't 15 years old or whatever. She's not like one of these kids that's growing up today that don't know the difference. Mary J knows. She came up in the time. She listened to some of the greatest music ever recorded because Mary J's old enough to remember the songs from the 70s and the 80s and whatnot. So don't act brand new here, Mary. You know goodness well that there is a huge difference between pop music and R&B, and you know damn well Adele ain't never been no R&B artist, ain't never had no R&B. Even her biggest hit with no damn R&B song. That was a damn pop song. So come on, stop it. And another thing that people also forget too is that we forget that just because you're black don't mean that you sing in R&B as well. There are a lot of black artists that were huge stars over the years that were pop stars, and there's nothing wrong with that. Michael Jackson is the king of pop. Whitney Houston's biggest hits were pop hits. You know, Lionel Richie made a killing from pop songs. Prince was a pop giant. So there is no shame in saying that. Beyonce, most of her hits, I know because I know she's black and whatnot, but most of her hits are pop. Most of her hits aren't R&B. Like Beyonce and Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer Hudson is R&B, and Beyonce is more pop. Does she cross over to R&B? Yes. But a lot of her hits are pop hits, and there's nothing wrong with that. But just because you black don't mean that you are an R&B star. So people should know that. I mean, come on, let's stop the nonsense. Mr. Engage, I know you had your hand up, so I'm gonna let you answer something real quick. Then we're gonna go to Nurse Nikki because she's a new speaker. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Hey, just real quick. Hey, just real quick, Mr. Engage, just real quick, just a comment on that. So remember, Tata, all modern day music is Black American music. Pop music is our shit. It's just that they embraced it and took it over and shadow banned us from even enjoying it. That's our shit.
No doubt. Man. No doubt.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Engaging.
No, you can let Nurse Nikki go. I'll let the circle flow. It's all love.
Go ahead, Nurse Nikki.
I'm just gonna say that I don't even listen to none of this new music anymore. I listen to all music from the 70s, the 80s. I listen to some of the 60s stuff that my great grandmother used to listen to. This new music is trash. And one thing that we gotta do as Black Americans, we gotta start making our older music trend, because this shit is whack. I'm sorry, I don't even mean to cuss, but a lot of this music is just straight whack. I'm in my 30s and I'm not that old, but I don't hear nothing that, even interests me anymore if it's not old school. And I'm going to just leave it there. Our people had a stranglehold on the music. A lot of the music still relevant today. Groups like Mint Condition, the Eyes Please, man, them our people. They made this shit pop. Everybody sample our music. People talking about they created hip hop, but they got to use our music to get it jumping. It's just ridiculous, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Nurse Nikki, you hit it right on the head. I mentioned something like that before too. I say one reason that the people don't sing as good is because you had a lot of the singers. I know we kind of against the black church. We had a lot of singers that actually came up during the actual time when people went to church and actually got professional type training from actual choir directors and whatnot to train their voices and how to sing and the diaphragm and all that other stuff like that. And you don't have that kind of training anymore because a lot of the ones that singing, they don't come up in the church the way they used to. When used to have people going to church 3 times a damn weekend, you had to go to choir practice and all that. You had to train, you had to sing, you had to travel and go to other churches and do this and do that. It's a difference, man. It is a big difference. You don't have that kind of training anymore, so you don't have those kind of singers. Does anybody in this room honestly believe that we may see another Whitney Houston in our lifetime, another Gladys Knight in our lifetime, another Aretha Franklin in our lifetime? Yeah, we have Jennifer Hudson, but how many Jennifer Hudsons are there?
I mean they are out there too, Tyler. So with that being said, right? So you got a lot of folks that just hate rap music nowadays, but because it ain't what the rap was in the 80s and the 90s. But that music still exists. And from new artists, you just gotta go find them. It's like looking for.
I'm not saying you don't have it, but you don't have the talent pool of singers out there, man, that you used to. People forget when we talk about Motown.
Again, hold on a second. They are out there. They go under.
They're out there, but they ain't out there in the numbers that they were before. Man, look how hard it is.
Right. But that's because we don't control none of this stuff, bro. This is why I always be speaking about this.
Like if you got Whitney, if you got somebody out there that can sing like Whitney Houston, we might not control. We ain't never really controlled the record labels. How many black distribution companies have we ever had in this country? Zero. None.
Right. We don't control that part of the game. Correct. We barely control our own labels. So that is the argument. So imagine how much undiscovered talent walk by every day. I'll be just picking off people that be harmonizing in the supermarket or some shit. Hey, Dan, you sing? Oh yeah, I do a little song. Oh yeah, well I'm an audio engineer. Give me a call. Well, they never holler because they just regular Joes. But sometimes you be the regular jokers. And I hate to bring up the white lady, but Susan Boyle, you know what I'm saying? They're just some random ass woman, random ass person that can sing her fucking ass off. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that we totally void the talent. I'm saying that the talent don't run deep like it once did.
But that's what I'm saying too as well. It's there. It's just that it ain't nobody putting nobody on, bro.
It ain't there in the levels that it once was.
But bro, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Nobody's putting nobody on no more. You have to be damn near the record label yourself for the record label to come even acknowledge you now. So what is the purpose of the record label, the streaming labels? We don't need y'all because all this independent shit is out here. You feel what I'm saying? So you gotta also understand that 40,000 songs come out a month. So you ain't gonna never listen to 40,000 songs in your lifetime. You probably won't even listen to 400. And like every last one of them, because you can only get a top 40. Top 40 is. That's gonna be your top 40 forever. How the hell you gonna listen to 40,000 songs a month? That's why I don't be uploading my shit to Spotify, YouTube, and all that. Because it ain't going to cut through. Not because I ain't got fire. It's just that I'm not supported by, Skynet, a.k.a. the Terminator, which is, the record labels, the algorithms. They push who they want to push. So if they pushing the white folks to the forefront by using black music, the technology is here for them to do that shit. But the average Joe just ain't going to spend the time nowadays in the studio. This is why hip-hop is trash. Jokers don't spend time in the studio.
I will still say that you still don't have the level of training that you had with these churches. Say what you want to about these churches, but black people don't go to church as much as they used to. And you're not getting that level of training. You got free training with these choir directors and whatnot. You're not getting that kind of level of training at these with the voices that you once did. I'm telling you.
But see, here's the thing though. Here's the thing you gotta understand, bro. When you say level of training, who's training who? You know what I mean? Let's talk about that for a minute. So
I'm saying Aretha, Whitney, all of these artists.
Right. That's a different time and place, though, bro. I understand what you're saying. That's a different time and place. But
it has an effect on the actual artist.
Listen to me, my brother. Those entities are still there. I think the real issue is our people don't take advantage of that shit anymore. I'm not saying that you don't have some talent out there, but hell no, you don't have. You could not. There is no Motown out there. You can say the entities of this and that or whatever. The level of singers, because not only that, listen to the shit that's on the radio, man. Listen to the goddamn. Right, who's trying to be the next Barry Gordy though? That's what I'm trying to explain.
What's the thing T-Pain used? What's the thing T-Pain used all the time? The auto-tune, please. And I hear these girls on the radio, and I hear these dudes on the radio.
Hold on a minute, T-Pain
they can't sing it better than me.
But T-Pain could actually sing without the auto-tune though. See that?
Yeah, and T-Pain ain't Luther Vandross either.
Right, but that's the argument. He don't gotta be, because
I know he ain't gotta be, because it's easier to get put on and it's easier to sing, and you got more help with the equipment and stuff. No knock on these people here, man, but singing in the black community has been steadily going down since the 90s. To be real, and we're gonna be honest about it. It's been steadily going down.
But here's the thing about that: who's putting who into position, bro, to be the next great icon of the past? And you can never compare the next artist to any of those artists. You feel what I'm saying? I can't compare myself to no Just Blaze or Timberland, and they can't compare themselves to me. Just because I don't have hit records on the wall, my shit is different. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's up to these black American Negro artists to go and do the work. Our folks don't want to do the work. A lot of these musicians are lazy. They just see the money, don't care about working on their craft. It ain't really a skill thing anymore. Nobody care about the skill set, because I could just dress fly and get on Instagram,
It's still a skill set. It's still a skill set. It's still, like I say,
requires skills to sing and rap, but nobody.
If I'm gonna be honest here, if we're gonna be completely honest here, I like Jodeci them, and I like Boys and Men and stuff like that. You know, because that was an era that I grew up in. But do I think Jodeci and Boys and Men was better than the Four Tops or the Commodores or the Temptations? Hell no. And that wasn't even my era. I'm not trying to diss them or anything like that. But no, I don't think they was as good as them. Do I think Destiny's Child? I didn't grow up because I was already by grown when Destiny's Child came out. But as Destiny's Child vocally wasn't at the level of In Vogue. I know In Vogue with grown women and whatnot, but let's be honest here. Like, I mean, if we really being honest here, you know, was Keith Sweat at the level of Marvin Gaye?
Right. Okay. Pause right there. Because now check it out. That's two different generations, bro. Technically, Marvin Gaye, Keith Sweat.
And I'm saying those older generations, like me, those older generations had better voices. Like,
talent is talent. Generation doesn't mean anything. Singing ability is singing ability.
Right. But hold on a second. See, y'all completely missing the point, because all y'all want to focus on what the greats were doing. Back then, even the greats that were in the 70s would say shit about the artists that were coming up in the 80s. I don't like your skill. You don't sing right. That has been an ongoing thing as long as I've been doing music since like 5 years old. You feel what I'm saying?
But still greats in the 70s still could recognize greatness. When they heard Whitney Houston sing, they still knew, oh, Lord, like, yeah. When they heard Natalie Cole sing, they were like, oh, okay.
It's a lot of hate. It's a lot of self-hate that go on between these artists, bro. A lot of times artists don't get.
I'm not saying it's not self-hate and jealousy, but I'm saying anybody with ears.
That's what it is, though. But that is what it is, though. There's a lot of self-hate. There's a lot of jealousy out here. It's a music industry, bro. You feel what I'm saying?
We can say we want to, but there's a severe lack of talent up here. Like I say, I'm not taking anything away. There are artists out there that can sing. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you don't have the depth that you once had. Okay, you got people up here now that Beyonce and them that won like 30 damn Grammys, and you got somebody like Diana Ross that didn't even win one. It's a level of difference when you used to be in a competition when you got the best female artist in your genre, and you got damn Diana Ross, and you got Gladys Knight, and you got Aretha Franklin in there all together. It's a difference. You don't have that kind of level of depth now. You just don't.
And Beyonce is not even the top in her category right now. There's way better singers.
Yo, I want to actually talk about that. You want to talk about pure singing ability? There's not. Kiki Wyatt, singing ability is way over Beyonce. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
She cray though, Ray.
If anybody
Jill
watched
Scott.
what the Dream Girl movie, okay, we can talk about Beyonce as great as she was, but Beyonce got her doors blown off by Jennifer Hudson on Dream Girls. Let's be honest here. She got her doors blown off. No hating or nothing like that. Jennifer Hudson blew her doors off. And Jennifer Hudson, and this is when I'm talking about eras, Jennifer Hudson, as great a singer as she was, what's her name? The original one on Dream Girls. What's the one name? Oh, Jennifer Holiday. Jennifer Holiday will blow Jennifer Hudson doors off. It's just what it is. No hating.
Nah, but it's not about hating, bro. It's not about hating. That's what I want y'all to get out your mind. Our people don't care to do the work no more. That's just what it is. I'm in the studio right now. I just landed. You feel what I'm saying? When I tell artists, hey, yo, don't worry about no money. Just come over to the studio. They never even fucking show up. You feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, if the choir director in the church is giving out free lessons and is coming from somebody that got the skills and tour with, Gladys Knight and the Pimps and know the scales and the chords, the kids don't even fucking show up, yo. Real shit. They're not into this shit like that no more. They all and the ones that do the music, that do take it serious, a lot of times they don't even study the music of the past because it's no longer played in the household. When you was growing up, Michael Jackson, Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin, the OJs, Temptations, that's what you heard in your house. These parents now are competing with their kids, so they playing feature too. Where's the classic shit at? The mothers now, they listening to the Drake. The OGs now, they liking Uncle Murder and Nipsey Hussle. They ain't listening to Rakim and KRS and, the stylistics. Let's be logical about that shit. So a musician, I had an artist in the studio the other day, and she could really rap. But what is she rapping about? I'm gonna kill a nigga, get the clicky, then with the sticky. Like, damn, do you got any songs talking about love? What would be the outcome if you like a story type telling raps? None of that shit. Everything's kill a motherfucker, get the money, bitch. Oh shit, no.
There's no positivity in these lyrics anymore.
Nothing, bro. That too. You feel what I'm saying? But it is, engineers and studio owners that got their own little personal thing that do try to, show to these artists, but they don't care to listen. They'll listen for a minute and just go off and do their own thing. The next thing you just never even hear from these motherfuckers again. That's why I don't work with artists nowadays. Even the ones that's older than me. Everybody think they know what the fuck they're doing. This is the reason why music is trash. I'm gonna give you another reason why music trash. You ready for this? Go look up what an arranger used to do. An arranger. So when I talk about this music biz, see, I call it the family biz. How to make money off your talent. Go to my YouTube page. I got a 3-hour video speaking about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Hit my Instagram. Seg1, same name. Got all types of content speaking about everything we talking about up here. Our folks don't really care to control our own fucking language. Because if we did, we'd have 1,000 Motowns by now. And the original would still be in existence. It'll be at the forefront. Keep it real. We don't support each other, even when we know we got fucking hella talent. You feel what I'm saying? There's so much talented motherfuckers running around the hood. Who bringing them up? Nobody, yo. Because everybody trying to go against each other in the hood, in the black community. That's why we just don't see the level of the deafness that you're saying. Because like you said, nobody go to church no more. Nobody want to stay in the studio days in and days out. Literally sleep and live in the studio. That's how these artists created these timeless hits. They were literally living in the studio. Never went home. You know what I mean? Real shit. These artists ain't doing that shit. They lazy because the money, whatever the streaming or the label that they sign into, they cut them a check. Or if they want some Soulja Boy type shit, or I forgot the other dude name, Bobby Shmurda or whatever. If you got that type of hit, yeah, you might be able to live off of that shit forever. You know what I'm saying? Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive. I met her straight up. She got a man or had a mansion. I think she sold it out here in Jersey. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, man. The amount of singers, even somebody like Donna Summers and stuff like that. Like these women and these guys could really sing. You had all of these bands and stuff back then too. Oh yeah, let's pass it around because we don't want to hog it up too much. I know Leon, go ahead and unmute your mic. Yeah, Leon, Mr. Gagin, and Black. We kind of got caught up in it, but so y'all go ahead and do your thing.
Nah, that's all right, man. Yo, you got a great topic tonight, man. I can't fault with that. Since we're talking about that, let's talk about some of these. What happened to our bands? What happened to our FBA bands? They actually played instruments like
that started going out in the '80s and stuff. Really,
you know, I think Mint Condition. To me, I think Mint Condition was the last of the bands.
Well, hold on a second, Leon. Hold on a second, Leon. That goes back to what we were originally talking about. Adele, Timberlake. Remember, you had Backstreet and NSYNC. They whitewashing, bro. And then back then, during those, the '90s, mid '90s, or whatever the case be, a lot of the music started to disappear from the schools. I'm probably I'm 42, so I'm probably the last generation that actually had real music teachers. Because all my life, that's all I ever did: art class, music class. And I went to school and got a degree in audio engineering, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So I've been doing this shit for well over 30 years. You feel what I'm saying? So when you got corporations like Yamaha, right? They have programs. See the school system, the Board of Ed, state to state, the Federal Board of Education, they allowed this shit to happen by taking these particular programs that we always speaking about out of black neighborhoods. So again, if you go on my YouTube page, DJ Seg1, I got a video called How to Make Money Off Your Talent, and I speak about this. All I ever did when I was doing these after-school care programs, music class, for years. I even worked for the television station in the 6th grade, bro. 6th through 8th grade, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Doing autoprompter work. What's autoprompter? That's when you type the newscast up for the night, and the journalists or the news reporters always reading the screen. You see they're reading off the screen. That's what that is. So I was doing that in 6th grade. But these programs don't exist in the hood no more. They took all the auto mechanics out. They took all the home ec, the cooking, the sewing. That's life skills shit. You know what I'm saying? So this is why the average kid running around today don't know nothing. They really, no offense to y'all parents out there, your kid is really not bright at all because they not teaching these kids what we learned in school. We're really like the last of everything. They trying to get rid of the Black history, which they calling this shit CRT now. You see what I'm saying? But go ahead, though. I don't want to argue. Hey, what's up, Banana? Banana, what's up, man?
No, you're right, man. It's sad. Like, and when you break it down like that, with everything, like the vocational trade classes and stuff, man. It's really I think it's really designed to really make us fail. So, and I'll land there.
Well, also add in that ain't nobody grabbing none of these kids' hands anymore. When the last time you just even any of us in here, keep it real, even myself, because it's been a while. Even though I always reach out to the parents that are in my community group, hey, if your kid want to learn music, just make sure you got a computer or some type of tablet. We could do it wirelessly or whatever, over the net. We ain't even got to meet up if you're worried about COVID and all that other shit. You know what I mean? They don't even show up, though. You feel what I'm saying? They want their kids into other shit, sports, and then that's about it shit nowadays. Because that's what these parents put their kids in, sports and nothing educational. Yeah, we got STEM over here in Newark and NJIT and Arts High and Science High. You feel what I'm saying? Those was right here in the hood, though. But when I bring up to my community group, because Lionsgate, the movie company, they're coming to Newark, New Jersey in the old Seth Boynton projects. I literally just rolled past that shit too. You feel what I'm saying? So, so with that being said, when I'm asking the folks in the group, how many folks that are Black American, because Newark is well over 50% Black Negro, you know what I'm saying? Maybe a couple immigrants here and there, Black diaspora. How many folks that are able to go attain them jobs when Lionsgate come over here? Movie producer, audio engineer, lighting technician. We're talking about a very minute percent of people. So therefore, meaning the only jobs niggas gonna get is the janitor and the security guard, yo. All the white folks gonna take them jobs because I've seen it happen. Newark Symphony Hall, when I first graduated school and tried to go get a job there, oh, you got to be in a union. But hold up a minute, there ain't no union for audio engineers. Yeah, you got the AES, Audio Engineering Society, but they're not unionized because otherwise I'll be paying my dues. You feel what I'm saying? If that was the case, this is what I do. This is my trade. You feel what I'm saying? Just like a construction worker, electrician, plumber, you pay your dues. So that way you can stay in the union and always have a job. But it ain't like that because they ostracize us because our folks don't be into this shit. We do this shit really for a hobby without thinking about the money aspect.
Hey, DJ, let's go ahead and let's let Banana go ahead because we got Banana and we got some other speakers.
No offense, Newstoter, can y'all jump in real quick? I'm gonna keep it quick. I want to just piggyback on what DJ said.
Who's that speaking? Who's speaking?
It's Leon, brother. It's Leon.
Oh, he had the mic.
I'm gonna make it quick.
Because we got Banana.
I understand. I'm gonna stop talking for probably the rest of the night and just listen. But I wanted to hit what DJ just said. A lot of us who have kids or going to have kids and got them on all these sports, you better watch. Because I don't know if everybody noticed, in the last NFL draft, out of the top 20, 12 of them were Nigerian descent. They're starting to take the sports away from us as well. Y'all better start looking at that. I'll land there.
All right, Banana, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I think some people were before me, right?
No, but we're going to go ahead and try and let the people that hadn't had a chance to speak to.
Oh, okay. I joined way long ago, and then I ran out the room or whatever, and I went away, and I didn't know, but still. But anyway, shout out to everybody. Hey, DJ. Hey, Chase. Hey, everybody. Newstoter. Yeah. So DJ know how much I like to sing and stuff, and I get really, really emotional behind people when they don't use their voices the way that I know that they know how. Like Beyonce, she all right or whatever, but like she have like a couple songs like the song she did for Dreamgirls where she really kind of put her all into it, and I'm like, oh, she do kind of have a style. But me, if y'all don't know, a hobby of mine, I sing. And the songs that I've been singing, the main song that I've been practicing a lot is like songs from the 50s because I miss that gospel melody. I miss that background. Like I want to be a background singer because I want to bring that sound back where you really had to know how to sing. Like you had to excuse my French, but you really had to like sing from your coochie. Like you had to have skills and you had to like sing all the way from like Etta James and a popular Christmas song that people like, White Christmas, but the version from the Drifters, where they really had to know how to sing, and all of that, and all those different sounds and going up and down and in and out and all of that. I really, really miss that. And when the singers don't do that and they just kind of like do something quick, like Beyonce's album right now is just like, okay, I guess it's fun or whatever, but I don't know. I'm just not. We need to get that sound back. Like, I like all these songs. I tried to get my mom to teach me, how to sing back when she was alive. She used to sing tenor for the choir because they didn't have enough boys or whatever back, like in the 50s or whatever. So, but like the Dells, I don't hear people talk about them, and these people that really, really, really like. You had to have skills, and some of these people I see do have skills. I see them sing, even other artists of different genres, different colors, whatever. But they just come out with something quick or whatever, and I like get emotional sometimes, start crying because I'm like, why don't they sing like this? Like we want to hear these voices. There's only one song that I know of that kind of did that background singing, and that was Lauryn Hill's song with Mary J. Blige. And this song is called Now I Don't, I Used to Love Him. And they go like really, really deep or whatever. That wasn't the right note. But anyway, I just wish some more people would come out with that sound again. Thanks a bunch.
No doubt. Thank you, sister. We appreciate you chiming in. We're going to let Chase go ahead and say something real quick. Then we're going to get to Miss Giselle, and we're going to get back to anybody else that wants to speak as well. So, Chase, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Man, peace to y'all, brothers. Peace to the family. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. Man, could you come back to me? Our other brothers and sisters have their hand up. I just came in the room. I do want to add to the topic. I'd like Mr. Zell and Mr. Engaging to go before I go.
Okay, no problem.
No, big brother Chase. No, big brother Chase. You can go, man. You fresh on the block, man. No disrespect. There's all love there.
Well, nah, he said he want to wait, so we'll let him wait. Miss Giselle, go ahead, and then we'll go to Mr. Engaging.
Okay, yes. What's happening? And I know what sound you're talking about, Banana. What's happening right now is a lot of Beyonce is singing for the moment. Like that's that timeless music. And believe it or not, if you feel that rolling 40s, that rolling 50s, I actually got a couple of songs on my upcoming album that's like that too. But keep in mind, a lot of people are pushing that sound. It's underground. So what's getting ready to happen is they may block us out of the limelight, but the underground clubs are about to really soar. Because I noticed here, even locally in Maryland, Baltimore, and the DMV, actually, a lot of the smaller shops have local artists that come through, and people come to see them on a regular with the music that they got. And now we're creating a new level to this music. So, but the only problem that's happening right now is, again, they have to erase us. When the brother mentioned that even in sports we're being replaced, that's because they're tapping in to see how far we will let them go before we push back. Too many people have been sitting still because a lot of the people that they elevated weren't us anyway. We got to remember that even in Black American music, when you look at the hip hop artists, these artists are elevated when they're talking about killing us. Yet you go to jail for the same thing. Most of these guys are getting RICO charges, right? But these white artists, they run in and nobody goes to jail for anything. We kind of sweep the way so they'll have an easier transition. So what's happening now, the hip hop artists that's underground, they going hard. The R&B artists, underground, we're going hard. Do your rolling 40s because the demand is there. So we have to keep pushing. We can't look to a Beyonce to do something that's not her space right now. Her space is taking that sound that go-go not go-go sound, the club sound that they're trying to steal and give to the daggone Asians. I'm glad she dropped that album like that because that sound, and she said it several times in that album a lot. What I say about her, I don't care if she chased trends, but one thing she did on that album, she represented Black America. She said that straight off the bat. It wasn't, hey, I'm African or nothing like that. She straight off the bat said, I'm representing Black American music. You won't take my soul. When you think of songs like that, she's really using words because people are going to chant it. Words have power. She's using it, like that whole album. When I listen to it, she's using words in a more powerful way. And again, people can say what they want to say about Beyonce, love her, hate her. You can't deny what she did with this last project, and the fact that now that club sound it's back in us. Now they can't say, oh, they did it. No, that's Black American music. So she kind of swept the room and took that because K-pop wanted it. And so did these white clubs talking about is EDMs and all that crap, whatever they call it. So I'll end by saying keep pushing in your music space because it doesn't matter what they highlight. We have the distribution abilities now. We got the power like we always had, and just push us out. The fans will follow, and I'll end.
No doubt, no doubt. Thank you again, sister. We're going to go ahead and go to Mr. Engaging. Then we're going to go to Banana. Mr. Engaging, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right, peace, family. As always, that Kingdom Pop stuff, I really want to go back to this because it really rubs me the wrong way that they out here, they threw dirt on Michael's name, and they just put this funny-looking white dude who doesn't have the skills, doesn't even have the musical inclinations that Michael Jackson had. So, like, I feel like they just I feel like they're just tarnishing the name of King of Pop. I'm gonna really go there, and I find it very disingenuous and disrespectful that this guy is not even measured up to the caliber, and they're calling him king. That's a problem within itself, and it's the people that decide the king and they rulers, not the other way around. So Michael was a fan of the people, and he was for the people. So when you have this establishment type of crony come into play, I say it's very problematic, and I think that it should be stomped out. But that's just my opinion, though.
Here's the thing, Mr. Gagin, I'm gonna kick it to you, Banana. If at least half of the people on Earth don't know who the hell you are, you know King of Pop. So that in itself, at least when Michael Jackson was alive at his height, you better believe half of the Earth at least knew who he was. So you can go ahead and.
Respectfully, Newstoter, I see him as a Cardi B. That's why I'm going so hard on this. And he had that Cardi B type of vibe in the guise of, like, we thought that bitch was a joke. Like, come on, let's be real, family. We thought she was a joke. Yeah, her beats were fly, but she was cornball. But she still made it. That's why I'm nervous, family.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And one good thing, like I say, Michael, he was an innovator. He was an underrated businessman. He had the hindsight to go ahead and actually go ahead and trademark that King of Pop. So nobody's gonna be sitting up here making up T-shirts, King of Pop, and this and that without the Jackson family getting some bread broke off. So good thing for Michael to do that. Definitely very intelligent thing. So he's the King of Pop to nobody. Nobody, like I said, nobody even know who the hell this dude is. Like we wouldn't know him if he knocked on the door or whatever. So King of Pop, that's just something that you always had the British and the great, when they had the British invasion and stuff, you had the Beatles and all of them came over. They've always been biting the black sound anyways. They idolized Motown and everything. So yeah, we're not even gonna even acknowledge this crap right here today. So we're gonna go ahead and go to you, Banana, and then I'm gonna go to Chase. So Banana, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I just had a question. Question and comment. So who are they saying is the new King of Pop? Are they saying Justin Timberlake is the King of Pop?
No, this cat over there from the UK named Harry Styles.
Oh, okay. I don't even know who that is. But as far as Mary J, my friend posted something, a while back when Mary J was singing to Hillary Clinton. He's like, she over there serenading Hillary Clinton, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah, somebody mentioned that she basically was putting on, Yeah. But yeah, somebody in the space earlier mentioned that she was pretty much putting on the show for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. I was just looking at the video again, and it's like, yeah, and I'm like, oh Lord. But the thing that they did, like with Adele and all of that, because obviously she does have a voice or whatever. Justin Timberlake, he got a little skills or whatever, but they do that on purpose, just like how they do with Eminem and everybody else. I was listening to some of those 80s songs, like remember that song, Let Me Be the One, Let Me Be the One, and all of them songs, but they kind of had like that little RNB, Taylor Dane and all of them, and I just start thinking about this stuff, and I'm like, they do all of this stuff on purpose. Like they try to infiltrate. They had a lot of little songs back then, Jane Child, all these different people that kind of infiltrate. And just recently I was listening to like some songs like Duran Duran and like The Reflex and and I hear the little sounds and I'm like, wait a minute, they kind of like got a little edge on it. Like I grew up because it was like came out in 84, so that's what I knew. But I look at it now as I'm older and I'm like, these songs, they put like this little place and all this little stuff that we kind of came up with, and it's all throughout those songs. It's all throughout Red Hot Chili Peppers, and all of them been taught by or learned from us and everything. So they doing it all the time, and they keep doing it, and they being slick about it, and they doing all this crazy stuff to try to like put somebody else in there. So like after our generation is done, people could be like, oh, like people forget or whatever. But when you click that King of Pop hashtag that you have up there, all the Michael Jackson stuff, all different kind of pages come up. So that's good. So I'll land there.
Here's the thing, though, and white people, you got to remember, white people have been studying us, and they have been, running tests on us since they've had us in chains and whatnot. White people know that if you go ahead and you copy black culture, you copy anything that's black, that you can make tons of money off of. You can make billions, trillions of dollars. It's a reason that back in the 60s and the 50s and stuff, when they had these black artists come out, they would go ahead and they would put white people on the covers and whatnot, so they can go ahead and sell this stuff. So the white tees at that time would go ahead and bring the albums home, and their parents wouldn't know that they was actually listening to black musicians and whatnot. So it's a reason that Pat Boone kept butchering all these black artists' songs with his crummy remakes and whatnot, and becoming a millionaire just off of just straight butchering these black people music and whatnot. So they pretty much already know. Listen, we're all old enough. Most of us are old enough. Some of us are old enough that back in the 90s, when they used to have commercials with white people and stuff, you didn't see white people all dancing in commercials and whatnot. You didn't see white kids constantly dancing. Every damn commercial you turn on now, you see a white kid up here dancing. They sitting up at the same. They done copy black people. They done dummy down the steps. They dancing and this and that. So even now, you used to see white people dance on all these commercials and stuff. Now, every time you turn around, every time a commercial come on, here's a white person dancing. Here's an Asian person dancing. So it just, like I said, they already know. And when you start having black people being idiots enough and start saying, even with hip hop, that, well, this is everybody's culture. It ain't just our culture; it's everybody's culture. Go ahead and go to a heavy metal concert and be black and go up in there and say, heavy metal ain't just white people music; it's all our music. Go to the opera and over there in Europe and say, well, this ain't just everybody's music. This ain't just y'all music. It's everybody's music. Go to a country western concert and sit up there and say, this ain't just white people music. This is everybody's music. Go to one of these salsa concerts or whatever and sit up there and say, well, this ain't just Latin people music. This is everybody's music. And see if they don't slap the hell out you. See if they don't just knock you right off the stage saying something stupid like that. There's only one group of people in this world that say idiotic stuff like that try to get pat on their head so they can get a Scooby snack, sitting up here saying idiotic stuff. Matter of fact, since we all black and everything, and it's just flat blackness, go to Jamaica and go in there and let them have a Bob Marley marathon or have a concert up there and sit up there and say, well, this ain't just Jamaican music. This is all black people music. And see if you don't get carried on the damn stretch and saying something stupid like that. Chase, go ahead and unmute your mic, bro.
Yeah, peace to everyone again. Newstoter, you and Keith, y'all be coming up with these titles to these rooms, man. But where do I start? But everybody know Michael Jackson is the king of pop. And I always go so far as to say he was also the king of soul, because look at where he came from. You know what I mean? The sister Mary, I don't know what the hell she talking about, bro. I think she must still be hurt after her divorce or something. I don't know why, and I'd like, because I know Keith is more into the sound, but it just seems like, last year, Rakim came out and said Eminem's supposed to be in the top 5. I can't see that anywhere. I don't know why he would say that. Now, Mary is saying that Adele and Justin saved R&B. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, you're correct, Chase. I mean,
yeah, she was basically saying that they rebranded R&B. That she didn't go so far to say they saved it. She basically was trying to say that they rebranded it, and by doing that they helped to elevate it, I guess. So,
oh my God, like R&B needed to be elevated. That was the damn standard. Listen, man, there's literally 100 Spanish dudes doing old school doo-wop and stuff like that. and they sound something good. And, and I listened to it, and, I paid attention to what they were saying. Something's missing. And I went and checked out some black people, mainly their sister Izza, and she got it. And the one thing that's missing, is soul that makes R&B. You know what I'm saying? R&B wouldn't be shit without the soul. And, it just seems like nowadays a lot of that stuff has got watered down. And it's like, Sister Banana, she cracked me up. She said, you got to sing with your coochie. That's kind of hard to do when you're a man, though. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I digress.
The coochie is the stomach, though, also, Chase. But, Banana being making a joke.
Okay, all right.
No, Chase, no. He know where I'm coming from. We all love.
No, I don't know. Damn it.
No, you don't know. I'm glad you don't know. But I'm saying, like, for me and stuff, when I sing, I be, like, really, like, hurting myself and trying to, like, get the note and stuff. And, I put it's serious because I want the real sound,
Well, look. This is what I want to tell to y'all, the family that know me and all our other brothers and sisters out there. Music has always been something that soothed me, get me going, and it's like, my father raised me up on the old records, you know what I'm saying? And to me, Al Green, all that old stuff, you know what I'm saying? They get up every Sunday morning. My pops had the Mad Wax collection, and I mean, when I say he had everybody, probably some rare stuff, and when I say this right here, the music landscape nowadays has really changed, and a lot of stuff is like real synthetic. But then I sent you this artist that I discovered because I've been checking out Wu-Tang Clan, and I've been looking to find out where did they get their music from and stuff. And I found out about that sister Wendy Renee. Wendy Renee led me to some other folks, and I was like, wow, so this is where they got the vocals and the beat for that song from. And I was like, damn, but if you go listen to Wendy Renee's version of After the Laughter, shorty can blow. I was like, when was the last time y'all heard a sister blow like that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it just seems like a lot of screeching going on nowadays. I don't know if Khalees set that tone, but ain't nobody, ain't no real sisters out there kicking it like that. And that's why you have somebody in Europe being named the King of Pop now. We losing our shit. What the brother said earlier about the sports, they got these Nigerians coming in because they're breeding them strong and stuff like that. And you already know that melanated people are athletically ingrained, but we're also musically gifted. I want y'all to go back and do some research in Ohio and look at all of the bands that came out of Ohio. Their families was making money working in those car factories. They had the programs in their schools. You look at some of the best bands. Back in the day, 70s, basically the whole 70s. Just go Google how many bands came out of Ohio besides the Ohio players. And y'all gonna be surprised. But it was a lot of them kids. Everybody was practicing, black folks had homes. They was taking, band classes in school. You know what I mean? And it's like, ain't none of that stuff is offered to us. But our folks had the opportunity back then. And that's how you see us dominating, you know what I'm saying, the music industry, And I landed on that, people.
No doubt. Appreciate you coming through, Chase. Been a little minute, but I'm glad to have you speaking up in the space. Jason, go ahead and unmute your mic. Jason, go ahead and unmute your mic, and we'll probably have you be the last speaker for the night. So go ahead, Jason, unmute your mic.
Yes, sir, man. Shout out to the room. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Just making sure I'm coming in clear. What's real interesting on this topic, man, I've been in and out of the room because I've been, working and stuff like that. But what's interesting to me is it goes over a lot of people's head about this Timberlake and Adele thing. Now, the thing with Timberlake is if you know how in the 90s, if you really listen to the music, when Timberland and Genuine was working together, it's real similar. Genuine was popping in the 90s, right? In the early 2000s. But what a lot of people don't know is when Genuine and Timberland fell out, guess who Timberland went and got? Justin Timberlake. So if you listen to the similarity in the style, listen to the similarity in the music, that alone right there, me personally, I think Genuine was doper than Timberlake, to be honest with me. I mean, we can make that argument, but I'm going to say Genuine was really, that dude before Timberlake. And let's talk about Michael Jackson. It's not even nobody comparable to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is, like, to me, he's not the king of pop. He's the king of music, period. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying about Timberlake is really the leftovers of after when Genuine and Timberland fell out. You see what I'm saying? And it's really off code for us what Mary J said, because what Mary J should have said about, she should have left Adele and Timberlake out of that. What she should have said was they need to let Black women sing love music. That's what the conversation should have been. Because the thing is, Adele, she is allowed to sing love music. Black women, Black R&B singers right now, they're not allowed to sing love music to Black men. They're not allowed to compliment Black men in music. So, and that's what her argument should have been. Her argument should have been the frustration with radio on how they don't allow R&B music, Black R&B singers, to sing ballads anymore. When's the last time you had a ballad on the radio? It's been years. So, if you really want to go to it, like for its music-wise, Black music right now for its R&B, everything is angry. It's about, I'm going to take you home, knock you down, F that nigga, you know what I'm saying? It's a reflection of some of the relationships that's going on in our community. So what she should have said, she should have kind of championed for Black women that's doing R&B right now to let us get back to love, let us get back to loving our men, let our men get back to loving us. Because I don't know if y'all know this, but if you look at the Drink Champs interview that Tank, when he was on there with Nori, basically Tank said white men are allowed to sing love music to Black women, to white women and everything. But Black men, we're not allowed, as R&B artists, we're not allowed to even market those type of ballads to the community and to the atmosphere. They want Black men to be the over-sexualized, whoremongering, abusers. They want Black women to be whores and, niggas ain't ish and all that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a real big psychology that Mary J just overlooked and put Adele and Timberlake as the white savior, just white mommy and white daddy. You know what I mean? So that's really a big thing. This is why we won't get another we won't get another Mary J. We won't get another Whitney Houston. We won't get another Aretha Franklin. We won't get that again because, it's not value now. And I just really wish Mary would have stayed on path for the upcoming R&B, singers for, as Black women. But I'm going to just land my plane right there. I just wanted to kind of point out, though, how Timberlake is really a knockoff after Genuine and Timberland stopped working together. So I just wanted to point that out.
And he's a knockout wannabe Michael Jackson too, because that's who he really tried to model his style after was Michael Jackson. You couldn't tell him that he wasn't Michael Jackson himself. So
right.
Yeah, he always tried to be Michael Jackson. So that's the main person he was going for. So definitely got to remember that. But Nana, we'll go ahead and we'll let you be the last speaker for the night. So go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thanks. Timberlake trying to do Prince too. I just wanted to touch base on what Jason was just saying, and it's true because look like what they do is they're trying to push all of the music into, I guess, more of the ratchet style, black, I guess, rappers, or even if they not kind of black, maybe they half black, or they call themselves black sometimes and then they don't call themselves black sometimes, and having people look up to them. That's who they're promoting, talking about, oh, I wish you were plan B and all of this other stuff to, like, promote all of that nonsense or whatever. And it's like, well, what happened to the love songs like Faith did, where they kind of, Faith Evans, she hadn't had like some, some soft, good songs that I feel. And, Monica had a couple good things, whatever. Mary J. Blige back in 411 and the second album, My Life or whatever. She really, really was like singing with soul and stuff, and and it's like now it's like I think that they must be paying. I think they get paid to say this kind of stuff or whatever, and it's really, really sad that people like her, who I still sing her songs, but it's like you're just a puppet now because you did that, you do this other stuff, and it's like, okay, well, why are you doing this? Like, sometimes you have to just keep quiet. I mean, you don't have enough money that you have to just keep getting all this money from them to say all this stuff. And also, too, last point that I wanted to make, Rakim, who I always put as my number one, when I heard that he said that about Eminem, I started crying. I cried. I cried about that. I cried about, Public Enemy performing at the all of these people. Everything is just a fake show right now. It's all about being fake. That's it. Thank y'all for the fake.
No problem. I agree with that part too. I mean, Eminem got skills. I'm not going to take anything away from Eminem. I'm not going to say that he wasn't a really good rapper. You can say a great rapper, but I couldn't possibly put him in my top 5 ever. But that's just how it is. But I mean, like I said, I give him his credit. He was skilled and whatnot. He had talent and stuff like that. But if I had to put like my top 10 rappers of all time, he definitely wouldn't be touching that surface. I'm not sure he'd be touching the top 15 or 20 either, if we're just being realistic. But that's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. So on that note, we're gonna go. DJ, you got anything you want to say before we go ahead and wrap this one up here?
Yeah, get in the Jumbotron real quick, y'all. Get in the Jumbotron. Take that information down. Say Justin Timberlake, Timberland, Missy. Shout out to my sister, Mouthy Bag. You already know, supposing these tethers one, even the white ones. You feel what I'm saying? So go look at that video, y'all, and then maybe we'll talk about it on part 2 of this later.
All right, sister, we're about to close it down. And since you came in here, I'll let you go ahead and go ahead for about a minute. And then we're going to go ahead and close it down. I get the final say. So go ahead and unmute your mic.
I just was coming in to say what's up. And, I got to come in and support my brothers. And I'm about to support y'all, your little cash apps up in there, and I got to support. That's what I was coming to do. But if I don't even know what y'all were talking about. I just see up here.
Actually, you do know, sis. What's up to you, sis? And shout out to my bro Rome. We talking this music stuff up here, so everything that I'll be spitting to y'all. That's pretty much what the whole conversation was.
Because all I know is I see a whole bunch of white people up there, and I'm sorry, white people ain't no king of nothing up in here. King of pop, he's gone. He's deceased. It's Michael. That's who that was. That's how I take it. The king of R&B, I'ma still say it's R. Kelly, regardless of what he done. I know how to move the man away from the music.
You love that R. Kelly. I give you that though. You love, like, you ain't gonna let R. Kelly go without a fight.
I'm gonna tell you, bro. No, I'm not. I'm not. Just like I'm not gonna give up on none of my brothers. Because guess what? If I was the investigator, you understand, and nobody wants to listen to me. I can show proof that I was an investigator. I talked to him. I have recording of him for me to, let his supporters or fans hear, but I haven't found any of them. But yes, I know the truth. And because I know the truth, And it goes all the way up. And I'm talking about Barry Gordy all the way up. Mob all the way up. So it's bigger than what, our little minds. But we got to quit throwing our brothers away, sisters. This is one thing I'm going to say. We got to quit throwing them away because of what white media, newspaper, anything on TV or anything that doesn't mean that we got to get our lazy asses up out of the bed and walk outside like we used to before social media and cell phones. We had to go outside and play. That's where we got our information. From grandma sitting on the porch, from mom, from books. That's where we got it. Stop listening to white people. That's why we're turning on each other. And another thing, real quick, brothers, and I'm going off. If I don't know no better, we're becoming just as tribal as the fucking tethers. It's a little group here, a little group, this group don't like that. That's not how we supposed to be dealing with this shit. That's not how we was before this. And this is not how I want to. This is why I've been backing out. Because I'm not picking sides. Y'all all my brother and sister. If we argue, we'll do that in the background. Me and DJ, we ain't always agreed on everything. But guess what? I respect him as a man. He respects me as a woman. And we just keep it going. Next topic. But we don't have to just stretch out and do what they're doing. We can't afford to do that. So on that note, thank you, Newstoter. Love y'all both. Love all my family.
And we and since you're so passionate about that topic, sister, I'm gonna have to go ahead and let you host one on the Newstoter platform. We got to host something about R. Kelly, and we could title it "Was R. Kelly set up, or did he really do it, or something like that?" Since I know you're passionate about that topic and whatnot, so we'll go ahead and we'll start working on that. We'll try to see about next week trying to host a space on that if you up to it. I know you
I am
okay.
But before then, I want me, you, DJ, and that way I can send you all of it's so much evidence, but I'll send you the evidence that we can give at that time that we talking, and that way you can read up on it and you can be a man that stand on his own work. Because once you read it, you're gonna be like, oh fuck. That's
well, now I'm gonna let you be the expert on this. So I'm gonna co-host it. I'm gonna host it, but I'm gonna just sit back. I'm gonna let you be the expert on the actual, and you get the information and whatnot, and give your opinion on it. So I'm gonna just sit back because you know more about it than me. When I don't know as much, I just sit back and whatnot. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and give your point of view or whatever, and just express what you feel. And we'll have a space on it. And like I say, especially with so much going on with R. Kelly still at this time, We'll go ahead and we'll do it that way. So you'll serve as a co-host with me and DJ on there, or as a guest speaker, if that's okay with you.
Okay, yes, and then y'all can ask me any questions. And you know what? For further going, I'm in law enforcement. He wasn't set up. To be set up mean you was privy to part of it. No, he was framed. So that's what you put. He was totally framed. He had no idea. They brought him women that was younger, that looked older, with IDs that were fake.
But don't give away too much of it. So don't give away too much of it. We'll go ahead and, like I say, next week we'll go ahead and we'll do it or whatever. So I'm glad to see you. I hadn't seen you in the space in a minute. And I know you talk about all of the divisiveness and stuff, and you're right. But the Newstoter space, we don't have all that. We try to just put the content out there and leave it at that. So we try to stay away from all that as much as possible, and just try to give the people some content and have a nice little dialogue when we can. Everybody don't have to agree with it, everybody, but we try to go ahead and keep it that way. And since my sister, Black Native, has her hand up, it's hard not to close the space when the sisters keep putting their hands up. So I'm going to let Black Native go ahead and get her say in, and then she is going to be the absolute last speaker for the night. So, Black Native, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you for allowing me to speak, Newstoter. I just wanted to say, Secret Sister, I came in your DM. I put my number out, and I thought it was your DM, but I think it was like everybody that followed Newstoter, and I noticed that. But check your DM, because I was asking about you because I hadn't seen you, and I was like, call me, let me know you're okay. So that was like, I had did this like last week, and then I checked, and I was like, man, this ain't even her DM. It's like Newstoter's DM. So Newstoter, you know what I'm saying? I had to remove my phone number from my DM.
No problem, sister. It'd be so much stuff in
I don't know
there.
if you've seen it. I was like,
I didn't even see it. It'd be so much stuff in there, so you don't worry about it. Like,
okay, well,
that's cool.
That was
Yeah, I didn't get it either. So
it's
more
in
likely,
your DM.
no, I'll check it now because you probably removed it fast enough. So that's good.
I was wondering. I was like, well, why she ain't calling me? And then when I went back and looked, and it was Newstoter's DM, but because I guess you follow him and I follow him, and everybody that follow him, I was like, wow. So I deleted the number and put it in yours. But I'm gonna speak real briefly on this topic. I don't know what's going on with Mary J. Blige, if she's being paid off. She knows her career is coming to an end. So she has to go ahead and, play her role, I guess. I don't know what it is, giving Adele some type of credit. Adele's voice cracked because she was trying to sound like a black woman, and she had to go get throat surgery. Her and Sam Smith, both of them, knowing they don't sound like us, they throat went out on them, and they had to go ahead and get some surgery to try to get that fixed. Now, for real. So I don't know what's going on with Mary J. Blige. She was one of my favorites. Rakim, I'm just shocked that he even said that. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, it seems like when these people's careers start to fade, then the coon shit comes out. Like, the cooning starts. And it's just weird behavior because I've never heard her say Adele or Timberlake saved R&B. How? Timberlake was a carbon copy of Michael Jackson, a carbon copy of Usher, a carbon copy. He came from NSYNC, who was a carbon copy of New Edition. Come on. We can go on and on. I'm tired of hearing these young girls whispering. I want to hear the vocals. We got people out here that have those vocals. We got Fantasia out here. We got Jennifer Hudson out here. You know what I'm saying? We got the vocals. Like, they refuse to play it. And the other brother was saying they don't play real R&B anymore, and they definitely don't. Most like R&B singers like Luke James, he has vocals. He never got his career going. They don't want black people to have love music. You know what I'm saying? They want the ratchet, I blow your face off, I'm going to go sleep with your girl when you at the store buying groceries. This is what they want us to hear. Far as like duets, like the brother said, I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it in years. I haven't heard powerful singers. Like I was in a room yesterday, and it's a room that I didn't even know existed, where it's basically they speak about Black American music and the history, and the focus was Prince, and we was doing trivia, and I was like, Prince, I got to come up in here and get in on this action. We were just going through how they have literally tried to silence us and put other faces, the Asians with pop now, the new pop. I don't even know who they are. They're supposed to be the new pop. White people trying to sound black when all the singers are still in the churches. A lot of us don't go to church, but they got the powerhouses in the gospel still to this day. And so, yeah, I don't know what Mary J is on. I don't know what she's smoking. But as far as Adele, no. Justin Timberlake, definitely a no for me. And then remember Robin Thicke got sued because he stole Marvin Gaye's music and tried to act like he didn't know what was going on. It's just the thievery, the copying. They're trying to dismiss us. They're trying to replace even our music, and it's sickening. And I'm glad we're having these conversations. And somebody needs to hit up Mary J and find out why she said that. What's going on with that? Because I've never heard that before. That they saved R&B. When?
Well, she basically trying to say that. Black Native, she was trying to say that she basically rebranded it, and by rebranding it, they pretty much brought it back to relevancy. So, yeah, that's what she was trying to say there. So,
relevancy to who? Because we always listen to R&B in our household. So who? White people? I don't understand who is she talking about. Because even though they don't play it on the radio, I literally was just playing Earth, Wind, and Fire, like about maybe 10 minutes ago. So it's still being played. People still listen to R&B in their homes. And we have to also teach our children and teach the history of our music. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe it's the radio stations don't want to hear it. And Adele came out. When the last time she had a hit song? When the last time Justin Timberlake had a hit song? When? Like maybe 5 or 6 years ago? So I don't know how did they save R&B? When did we stop listening to R&B? Because we never stopped listening to it. The radio stations just don't play it. I don't even listen to the radio. All my music is downloaded on my phone. So I'm gonna land my plane on that. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And if sister is still in here, give me a call because I dropped my number in your DM. Thank you.
All right, DJ, real quick, go ahead and wrap it up, and then
get in the jumbotron, y'all. Get in the jumbotron. I post a lot of stuff up in there. Get in the jumbotron. Good night, y'all.
Right. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for the night. We had a good conversation, y'all. And stay tuned because next week we will definitely have a sister. My girl, she's been trying to get that R. Kelly space on. I know she had one of her first ones. So we're gonna have her on Newstoter, let her do her thing. And it's gonna be a debate that night. So just be prepared, y'all. For those that come in, be prepared because it's gonna be. I don't even know how this is going to turn out, but just make sure y'all come in and support the space. It's going to be so many different varying opinions that night. I could just imagine. I don't know if it's going to be a big space or a small space. This is a smaller space tonight, but yet it was still a nice, good conversation back and forth. We know who the true king of pop is. I don't know what my sister Mary talking about because I'm with Black Native on here. When in the hell? Like, I don't even know. When was the last time Justin Timberlake put an album out? Adele, I would never even put her in the R&B realm. So I don't exactly know what she's talking about on that. But you guys know you can always catch a Newstoter space Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure that you guys are following us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. If you got an Instagram, and you see, go ahead and look for Newstoter. I know y'all got Instagrams. I know y'all got Facebooks on there. You got YouTube on there as well. Look for Newstoter. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you guys definitely every day visit newstoter.com, the largest curator of Black news today in America. If you can support Newstoter on Cash App with just $1, please. That is $Newstoter. That is $Newstoter. So until tomorrow night, we will see you guys. We'll have a nice topic definitely ahead for you guys. So be prepared to listen, share the space out, and we will see you guys tomorrow night.